Welcome, welcome. I still feel like crap, but I gotta do something for my fans, do something for my mm, I gotta do something for the peoples out there. My, I don't know what it is. Might be some type of cold virus or something, whatever I'm going through, or not having enough rest. I mean, don't try to kill yourselves over something that's goofy, like the internet. But anyway, we on Lock Nation in the building here. You can go like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Um, YouTube wants to, not YouTube, but StreamYard wants to act goofy. So, not being with them for a little bit will help me in the long. This is going to help me in the long run. Just being on my phone. But let me get into all the riffraff that's going on with Jasmine Crockett. And once again, congratulations to Jasmine Crockett for putting her hat into the ring. And as I expected, and as everyone else has expected, but we're talking about good and evil here. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Now we all know she's running against James Sorrells. James Tama, I got his name written down here, but we all know she's running against James, another candidate. But I guess these two primaries are getting along with each other, and I've been hearing rumors based on TikTok and a couple other whiny ass black folks. I call them conservatives. Of course, you got your liberals and you got your conservatives, and all these conservatives just become cruel. And I'm going to get into the rumors in a minute. We're going to play a game called Truth and False. Not Truth or Dare, but Truth or False. All right. Like I said, what was I at? Okay. Congratulations. You got your head in the ring. These people are going to see that this woman fails. They're going to, I've told you before, I didn't say it in full, but I already knew throughout this whole Israel thing that they want this woman to fail. But then I was like, wait a minute. Didn't Donald Trump, this man that's in office right now, didn't he sell America's secrets to the highest bidder in China in his first term? His first term. Didn't he go over there overseas to Yimni, whatever his name is? I forgot. I forgot the emperor. What I would call emperor, whoever, whatever. Didn't he sell us the high? Sell us to the? He sold us out. But Kim Jong Un, thank you. And then it's a problem when she halfway, not full grown, support Israel. We have to face facts. The United States of America, whether you are a president, not an ambassador, a president, legislator, Congress, Senate, etc., etc., etc. We're going to have to face the fact that in America, it is a law to do certain things for certain countries. We don't go full blown ham. We're just going to have to face that fact. And we're also going to have to face the fact that there's going to be trick bags. They're going to want a bag. They're going to want this. They're going to want that. We're just going to have to accept the fact also that all these people that I just, well, not people, but these labels, they're called labels for a reason. All these labels are not going to be in the best interest of Black folks 100%. We all knew, and most of us do know through our our mothers, fathers, grandfather, grandmothers, great grandfathers, great grandmothers, when they had property, and if you are lucky and fortunate to have a family who had property, who had industries, you knew that growing up, you had to keep up with those industries if you were given the opportunity. If you were given the opportunity to um, get that trust fund or get the keys to your grandpop's barbershop or your hotel, which a long time ago there's a hotel here in Vegas that was called the D Hotel, was owned by a black man. I had to look him up, but he died of a heart attack. It was given to his wife. She didn't want the property, and then they just ended up selling it to some white guy. But unfortunately, we have a very bad habit of just giving away stuff that's valuable. We have a very bad habit of that. So just get used to that fact and get used to the fact that they're not going to give you reparations. Just that's let that be free and clear. Ain't nobody going to give Black folks reparations. I don't care who the hell you think you are. The only way you're going to get reparations, because think about how we are treated versus everybody else. Think about that. I need you to turn your brains off that FBA shit and Adolf shit, even though I respect Adolf's a little bit more than I respect FBA with their controversial ass. They're not going to, you just have to accept the fact that you're not going to get reparations unless you are organized, number one, and fighting, know how to fight and draw blood, number two. If you are organized, number one, which none of us are, know your identity for one. I forgot that first and foremost. Know your identity. Know know who you are. What is your identity? None of us know our identities. Some of us come out and just throwing labels. Know your identity. Know how to fight. Organized. You got your base in order. Can multiply and create bullets, guns, whatever have you, and start fighting. But most of the Negroes are scared of revolution. Most of the Negroes are just scared to say, well, they're scared of a white man. Let's just say that. But anyway, Jasmine is going to be fine. Jasmine is very, very young. And like I said, we're going to get into the rumors that she doesn't reach her young audience. In this poll, however, James, the person that she's going up against, and by the way, give her some slack. She just threw her ring in the hat. I mean, that damn. I'm going on TikTok, which I'm gonna review in a minute. I'm going on TikTok, and you got these conservatives just going off, which is ridiculous. Which it just tells me that either they don't like this woman, they don't want her to be in a position of power, and or they've given up. They've completely given up, and they'll just accept anything. They'll just accept any white man. They'll just accept anyone that comes along, blah, 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 blah. Because how dare her, she run for U.S. Senate? Because they know. And it's not just the conservatives, it's white folks too. They know once you hit U.S. Senate, the next quest is what? Becoming the president of the United States. Running to become president of the United States. That's the next step. I'm waiting for that. How many of you are waiting for that? Which, it's gonna be a while. It is going to be a while. Who is running for president of the United States right now, or put his hat in the ring, is some dude from California, which I've basically given up on. Cause I heard wars and rumors of wars about it. But yeah, let's see. Actually, let's put this in the middle. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna do the best that I can because my body still is kind of effed up. So, back's messed up. Legs are messed up. It's but I'll do my best. Anyway, and then this nonsense comes up. I'm not gonna even play the full clip.
All over Facebook and all over Threads.
I want to be clear. No one should ever be okay with war.
Well, you voted to fund it.
No, I did not vote to fund war. What I voted for...
Yes, you did. You voted to supply Israel with armaments that they're using in their prosecution of the war.
Do you understand that we took more than one vote? Because we had 3 votes on Israel.
There have been like 1 million votes on Israel.
We had 3 votes as relates to funding for Israel. The very first vote was to fund Israel and defund the IRS because that's what the Republicans put on the floor. Because the Republicans run the House, okay? What was my vote? It was a no.
No.
Then
we ultimately voted yes on the bill to fund Israel.
The second vote was to fund Israel and no other funding, okay? The third vote, was it just for funding Israel, or was it also to get money to the people of Gaza?
And that aid has been consistently blocked. I mean, you can complain about Netanyahu, but he's the one administering the funding that you said.
Gavin Newsom. Yeah, I gave up. Whenever I have your name and face imprinted in my brain, and then I read some stuff, and I read certain stuff about you, I go, whatever. Well, I said to you a long time ago that watch them do any and everything. Watch them come out with even old clips, which I would confess to you, real Dana, the real Dana, aka Mr. Judge Joe Brown, aka Goofy Goofies. You need to let it go. Just let it go. Just let it go. I'm going to try my best not to go into crazy YouTube mode, like the lowest of the low YouTube mode, because I feel I have a responsibility to the people who had subbed to me. And by the way, I want to thank you so much for subbing. Thank you. This is unexpected. Nevertheless, I thank you all for subbing, and we are now at 14K. I wasn't even paying too much attention to it, which at this point, the numbers are numbers. This is a hobby for me, but also this is turning to fun, in which now I'm getting phone calls from my oldest cousin, who was a lawyer and also likes Jasmine Crockett. The whole family likes Jasmine Crockett at this point. So my oldest cousin tells me, I asked her, I said, how can, okay, now that she's announced it and the numbers are looking quite good. You know, for ratio like 60-40, you know, women of color, however you say it. How can I go back to some shit I've never been to? Although I will keep that. Because I want to go to Africa someday. I definitely want to go to Africa someday. Must be some crazy ass white man that's up in there. But anyway, I asked her, I said, how is she going to win the seat? And how is she going to convince a whole bunch I've never been to Texas. I've driven through Texas. I've never been in the state of Texas. I've driven through it. See, if I was in it, I'd be staying somewhere, and I'll tell you the landscape, the atmosphere, how it is, and what it is like. I just drove through that thing, and driving through there, that's almost a day taken away. I don't know what it's like, but I do know that there's a lot of black voters per se. And it's like a 50-50 split. Some of them are Democrats, some of them are Republicans. And here we go with the game. True or false? Rumor. She is pro-Israel. No, she isn't. Because as she told you, and people play different clips, as she told you before, and if people were paying attention, and I don't know if people were paying that much attention, because again, people can find something and run with it. Just paint a narrative about this woman, just throw something at the wall to make it stick. For those who haven't been paying attention or been living under a rock for the past couple of days, this is what's been happening. As soon as she announced that, the pro-Israel, she's for Israel, we don't like and people have been sending me different clips through the algorithm. Some black lady proclaimed that, told me what Israel is all about, and they want to bring back slavery and stuff like that. Who does that bring back slavery? Interesting. Who do you think symbolizes that? Who do you think is sort of familiar with that tone? Trump. Trump is no different from Imuni or whatever his name is. He's no different. He's no different from the supreme ambassador out there in Israel. They all want you back into slavery. So what else is freaking new? Think about it. What do you, as a citizen of the United States of America, going to do about that? Oh, I said that wrong. Sorry, I said that wrong. What are you, black man and black woman, living in the United States of America, going to do about that? What are you going to do? Organize, right? That's what Dr. John Henry Clark wanted you to do. That's what Dr. Ben wanted you to do. That's what Malcolm wanted you to do. That's what Martin wanted you to do. You're not in a position to tell a politician what you want. You have to demand it. Because believe it or not, and I'm not saying Jasmine is a victim of this too, because again, she is a politician. But yet, politicians have to follow certain codes. Otherwise, let's just say, for example, hypothetical. Let's just say, for example, you tell her what black people need, right? You tell them we need this, we need that, in form of policies. So, and I've been hearing this, policies, where's her policies, 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 policies. She doesn't have any policies. Where are her policies, policies? Black, we got to be careful with all these black people that run for office. We always fall for the banana in the tailpipe and all this other shit. Oh boy. So, policies. Yeah, I've heard it all. Pretty much. I just don't have any policies. I went to James, I went to this candidate, and they have the policy to stop the storm drain from clogging up and all this other shit. But I looked at Jasmine Crockett's website. She doesn't have any policies. And you want to vote for her. Jasmine Crockett advocates for voting rights, health care access, criminal justice reform, and immigration reform, emphasizing equality and representation for underrepresented countries. Should I go any further? Hey, Barb. Lovely day. I'm still feeling kind of fit, but we'll see how this goes. Let's go to the more important policy. Healthcare. Healthcare, because everybody needs health, right? Why don't you tell me what you want instead of acting like assholes, Mr. Famous Potato? Don't erase him. Just let him sing, because I'm not used to this politician shit quite just yet. And I can go smooth the fuck off. But I'm trying. I'm really, really, really trying. But anyway, let's go to the more important thing. Healthcare. That's a policy. Crockett believes that healthcare is a human right and supports policies that aim to increase coverage and access to healthcare services. Two, keep healthcare costs low and ensure comprehensive coverage, including dental, visual, mental health, so on and so forth. That's not a policy. That's not a policy. Okay. Justice, criminal justice reform. Okay. So, as a former civil rights attorney, Crockett has committed to reforming the criminal justice system. Her policies include ending qualified immunity for police officers to hold them accountable for misconduct. Demonetizing the police and funding community policies and social services. Advocating for the George Floyd Justice and Policy Act and addressing racial disparities in sentencing. That's not policy. Hey, if that's not policy, I don't know what is. I do not want it. Now I'm going to read this one to you, and you may not think it's like that's not really policy. That's a worldview. That's something else. This is very important for when you and your child going to breathe air or the lights come, the lights go off and people have to pay this certain amount of money to keep the lights on. Environmental policies. Crockett supports the framework of the Green New Deal, advocating for 1, transitioning to 100% renewable energy, sounds like a Barack Obama trait, by 2035. It does sound Barack Obama-ish. It does sound kind of Barack Obama-ish because Barack Obama did the exact same thing. if we don't remember. But I do like that because when they put on these panels, these panels do fucking help. Eliminating subsidies for fossil fuel companies and investing in green infrastructure to create jobs. Green infrastructure to create jobs. To create jobs. You hear that, conservatives? To create jobs. For underserving communities. Underconserved communities. So that's a fact. That's a fact, but she doesn't have any policies. Okay.
They absolutely refuse to engage with nuance because it doesn't fit their bumper sticker. Let's look at the actual receipts. There were 3 votes. She voted no on the first 2, as she stated. She only voted yes on the third because it packaged a deal that included aid for Ukraine, Mexico, and Honduras. The money for Israel, strictly for missile defense. But here is the tell. Jasmine Crockett has the exact same stance on Israel as James Tallarico, her Democratic Party opponent.
Israel has a right to exist and a right to defend itself just like any nation. But Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't have the right to wage war against civilians.
Both reject AIPAC money. Both recognize that Netanyahu's government is the enemy, not the people. Yet Tallarico gets praised as a thoughtful progressive while Jasmine gets dragged. Make it make sense. The silence around his stance on Israel is so loud. Getting lost in the detail of this is the missing big picture, and I'll give you 3 things about it. Thing number 1. The reality is that the online left is becoming just as big of an obstacle to progress as the Republican Party because of this performative outrage. We watch them do this exact same thing to Kamala Harris. They demand absolute ideological purity from black women while allowing white men to operate in that gray area. Thing number 2, the Jasmine Crockett debate is a microcosm of how the machinery of the left treats black women. They will platform you and applaud you when you fight for them, when you are their attack dog taking down their enemies, but they will never fight for you. They love the labor. They resent your ambition. Thing number 3,
I want to give a shout out to the UK. I want to give a shout out to the UK. My wife's been out there. It's a very nice place. Let me continue.
This entire conversation is drenched in misogynoir. The goal here isn't to correct her policy. The goal is to devalue her political capital before she even gets to the Senate. Watch the difference in energy. Watch how much grace is extended to her white counterparts for political strategy, while she gets labeled as a sellout for navigating the same broken system. We have to stop letting people who don't have our best interest at heart dictate our support. They are scared of her power, so they are trying to weaponize her record against her own people. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. If you...
I'm going to expect it. I'm definitely going to expect it. And all because she's a black woman. All because she's a particular woman, a particular black woman. The type of woman that likes to shake her head all like this and talk outside of it and be real loud, and they hate stuff like that. What makes it worse is when you go to the other side and you hear our people talk, and it's not all of them. It's more like a 60-40 split. A 60-40 split. And more, by the way, looking at the polls, she's doing a real good job. When it comes to our people, it's like 89%. Oh, Mr. James doesn't seem to have any type of black votes. So she has a total, and I'm not good with poll numbers. She has the attention of more black folks, black women, and Latino women. James has the attention of Latino men and white women. So I expect it. I definitely expect that. I definitely expect that. It buff. What does that mean? More. Boy, you just hating today, ain't you? You just hating today. Well, you know what? I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let that go because you won't hate you today. Just like this coon here. And I don't know if you're black, white, or whatever. It is just, but I know this the hate for Jasmine Crockett is just so surreal. And she just announced that she's running for U.S. Senate. But I'll let you hear from the horse's mouth.
About the people of Texas. She don't give a fuck about the people of Texas. She's running for Senate because of
video. Jasmine Crockett is running for Senate in Texas, and the demographic you would imagine would support her no matter what, the black women, are the same people coming out saying, no, actually, we don't like Jasmine. We think her entire campaign is a fraud, and we don't trust her. Lest you forget, Jasmine Crockett's entire campaign strategy is axing black women for their votes. I'm asking y'all to vote for me. Ask. Come on. It's not axe. It's ask. There's a...
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It's not a herpy dipshit. It's a sty. I just didn't put enough hot water on it. But feel free to roast this individual. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm not advocating for violence or anything like that, but just all in fun purposes. Just go ahead and just roast the crap out of this person, please.
The difference, just like there's a difference between the smoke alarm detector sound and peace. Change the batteries and have some.
Smoke alarm detector sound. Sound like. Oh, let me not be disrespectful. Let me not be disrespectful.
Some peace for once. Anyways, black voters, specifically black women, are rejecting Jasmine Crockett in
The black people in the black community disrespecting Jasmine Crockett. No.
real time. I've been seeing these kind of videos on TikTok constantly, and I'm going to show you multiple videos today of black women telling Jasmine Ratched to kick rocks.
Okay, can we please talk about the Texas Senate race right now? So I've been looking at both candidates. One of them is Wesley Hunt. And yes, he is a Republican, so he obviously supports Trump. But some of his policies consist of cutting fraud, cutting the American debt, securing the borders. And he also has this one that really caught my eye. It was aiding Houston's flood mitigation. Here in Houston, it floods pretty bad. Basically, anytime that it rains, like the roads are super flooded. This policy that he's putting in there, basically he wants to build these tunnels that way that the water actually drains out of the city instead of just being built up in the streets. And then I went over to Jasmine Crockett's, and yes, she does have a website, which I was surprised, but she had no policies. The only policy she had was she was anti-Trump. And I think that's literally crazy because what does that have to do with Texas? Like, what is that, being anti-Trump, what is that doing to help Texas? So whenever y'all go to vote, for your senator, think about the things that you want to be better in Texas. Don't just vote for someone because they're anti-Trump. And mind you, Jasmine isn't running against Donald Trump. She's running against Wesley Hunt. So again, Trump has nothing to do with that.
This is so refreshing to hear. She's realizing Democrats don't run on policies. They run on Trump bad, we good. Does this girl sound like a black conservative? No, actually, she sounds like someone who would normally vote for Jasmine Crockett. Here's another one for you, and I really like this one. Speaking about black women like their cars. I like that one. That's a brand new one. I like it. The engine, is it still running?
One thing I know about Republicans up on Capitol Hill is when they tell you they're going to do something, they've already done it. The plan has been finalized and they've moved on to the next objective. Okay, so by the time the public finds out about it, it's already too late. You can't do anything about it. Why do I say all of this? Because if you do a simple Google search in regards to why Jasmine Crockett is running for senator, she did not get the blessing from the Democratic Party. She was convinced by the Republican Party via the Republican Senatorial Convention.
False. She knew this months ago. She's advocated for that months ago. Just because somebody had said something to her doesn't mean she had it on her mind. She's been had it on her mind. So I don't know where she got this from, but let me continue.
To run for Senate. I didn't put two and two together until I seen the video of the Speaker of the House talking about, we are happy that she is running. We want her to run. And I'm like, why? And then I went on her website. This is not about the people of Texas. She don't give a fuck about the people of Texas. She's running for Senate because of her ego. Because her ego is bruised due to the fact that she is the first sitting congresswoman to lose her district. And
How many Black conservatives are going to mutter the same sentiment?
While people in the comment section do not have the intellectual range or comprehension to know the difference between seat and district, she didn't lose her seat because by law, she's still a sitting member of Congress. It's just she don't have a district. But the reason why she lost her district, outside of the fact that it was gerrymandering, was all by design when she decided that she wanted to wage war on the Republican Party by herself. She has no allies. And while you're sitting there attacking me, talking about that I have to, pledge fealty or loyalty to her all because she's a Black woman, I don't subscribe to identity politics, never have and never will. You're hating. You're just jealous. How could I possibly be jealous of a congresswoman that has no districts?
Anybody can sit on the couch and naysay about certain stuff. The person that she's running against has even her full support. Believe it or not, Hakeem Jeffries has her full support. And it may not seem like it now, but I bet you Bernie Sanders has her full support. I haven't heard from Barack Obama yet, but I bet you we will.
She has no allies.
She's cooking right now, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about you, but it doesn't sound to me like Jasmine Crockett has any momentum.
She's running for Senate because of her ego. They're setting her up, and y'all don't even see it. Stevie Wonder can see that. Anybody who has a marketing background, anybody who has a copyright background, I would challenge you, go on her website and count how many times you see the word I. It's right there on her website. It's not about the people, it's about her ego. She is fueling and feeding her own ego. It's one thing to declare war or have a beef with one or two members of the Republican Party, but to declare war on the entire Republican Party at all levels of government, and you're alone and unafraid and by yourself and you have no allies to stand with you, child, sweet baby Jesus, you bit off more than what you can chew. And this is why I said in the original video, she did not read the room at all.
You know what's funny? People talk a good game. People talk a real good game when it comes to voting in somebody. But when you need help with something and that person has set a policy for you to strive and thrive because of that policy, but you don't vote for them. See, I didn't think at that time Kamala Harris had any policies because she didn't present any policies to anyone at that particular time. It makes me think, did I make a mistake for not voting for her? Which, by the way, I didn't. But then again, I didn't vote for Trump either because both candidates were bad at the time. Both of them. But now that I hear strength, wisdom, courage, commitment, not so much animosity, because again, when you are a Black woman, and I'm going to say it again, I don't care what nobody says. This is a Black woman, all right? A Black woman. She's going to get attacked. She's going to be belittled and all this other stuff like yada, 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 yada. I had not one time, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm fucking wrong. Kamala Harris, I don't know if anybody's treated her with the same amount of disrespect as Jasmine Crockett, but then again, I could be wrong. But now that I hear her tone, I hear her voice, she's cussing up a storm and she's saying all types of shows. And I don't think she's going to run again. Put in the comment section is Kamala Harris is going to run again for president. Let me continue.
You know, you do not hunt what you cannot kill.
This lady has way too much common sense to be a liberal. You're so close. You already rejected identity politics. Just come over. We're a big tent. We have all kinds of people in here. I have more for you, but I want to prepare you because you're not going to believe this. The theme with those two ladies is that Jasmine Crockett is running for her ego. She doesn't care about Texas at all. But there's an even bigger block of anti-Crockett black voters who are coming after her for her stance on Israel. Apparently, Crockett has a pro-Israel voting record. And so the leftist pro-Palestine people who the Democrats...
Now, remember, I already played you the clip from earlier about her stance on Israel. I already played you that. Now, listen to what these people have to say.
Democrats propped up all these years, who Crockett probably propped up as well, are now saying we can't vote for Crockett because he is pro-Israel. Exhibit A.
Jasmine Crockett is pro-Israel for free. Pro-Israel for free. She doesn't get paid for it. She lobbies for the stay of Israel for free. Every single day you get on this app and show us how you really feel about Palestinians. Because Israel is a limit test.
I think she meant litmus test, not limit test.
Any politician willing to vote or in favor of Israel needs to go. Why is it only like, oh, identity politics, we don't care about Palestine anymore? Like, what the... This has nothing to do with purity politics and everything to do...
I'm sorry, but hasn't the United States, no matter who was in charge back then, if it was Bill Clinton who was in charge, George Bush who was in charge, don't they all represent some other country in one form or another, whether it be China, whether it be Russia? Don't we do that? So what's so big about Israel? Oh, I think I know why. Israel owns y'all asses. That would be why. That would be why. Again, what are you going to do about it? Israel ain't the issue, Islam is. I can second that. But then again, why are we talking about Israel? Don't we have problems here in the United States trying to get along with each other? As Black people, we are like split in different ideologies, just split. And we got the nerve to be involved in some Israel shit. Is Israel paying your bills? Just being honest. Just be honest with yourself. Is Israel paying your bills? Yes, 2 billion Muslims, 1% living in the United States. Exactly. Now, don't get me wrong. There are Black Muslims, white Muslims, right? If Black people who are Jews recognize the Africanity, I'm all for it. But if they just recognize themselves as Jews, nah, they can stay over there with them. Let me continue.
With the fact that you guys don't have fucking principles. You guys don't give a... It's really voting blue no matter who. But you will learn very quick that that's not going to fucking happen.
She has a little mouth on her. We're going to have to do some censorship. Another one, baby.
Let's talk about Jasmine Crockett.
Hold on. Haven't you noticed that this gentleman right here, every time a conservative black woman speaks and certain words come out of her mouth that doesn't apply to the English language, he ends up correcting you. Now, I don't know if that's a sign of disrespect I don't know if that's belittling. I mean, this is not the first time. This is not the first time, but let me keep going.
Shall we? Y'all have very short memories. The memories that you pull from the past seem to erase every 15 days. And there's an inability to connect past actions, particularly voting actions, to your current state of being and the future self that you want to be at. Some of the same creators who are telling you, hey, don't be a single issue voter, relax your morals when it comes to who you're voting on. No politician is perfect. A lot of these same ones you're hearing during the 2024 election, which didn't get you in the first place, are the same people not even 2 months ago who were complaining about how Chuck Schumer was a spineless, feckless individual who couldn't be trusted. And they were sitting here complaining about how and why we could have gotten to a place where the politicians would sell us down the river and all of this stuff. You saw real-time copium on the timeline of people trying to make sense or create scenarios and conspiracy theories to show that actually the Democrats were playing the long game. They're never playing the long game. Newsflash. If you haven't picked up on the context clues, newsflash. And these are the same people who are coming on here talking about the Jasmine Crockett potentially being, taking a Senate seat for the state of Texas, voting for her, even if she supports this, even if she supports that. You're a single issue voter. You're not caring about people. This is anti-Black. All the identity reductionism, the identity politics that are being blasted in our faces right now is something that, it shows that 1, y'all don't remember, 2, y'all don't learn, and 3, y'all can't piece very simple information together. So vote whoever you want to vote in. If they're Black, support them. If that's your political strategy, do it. I don't really give a but when we're in another situation, inevitably, which we will be, where you want these people to stand up for you.
Oh, okay. Question. Again, I understand where the lady's coming from. I thought at one point that Barack Obama with his first one, and again, I was young. I was in my 20s, in my early 20s, I think. Going into my later 20s, actually, I was in my later 20s, going into my early 30s, I thought, yeah, Barack Obama, yes, we can. He even came to Las Vegas, and I was in the second row. Me and my girlfriend at the time, we was in the second row, just yeah, we Barack, yes, we can. And I'm in the car, I'm chilling, and I'm driving, and I'm singing, yes, we can, yes, we can, yes, we can. And I'm waiting. I don't know what the dealio is, but okay, we're back. Anyway, I'm driving and I'm like, yes, we can. Yes, we can. I'm waiting. And all of a sudden we're in a shutdown. All of a sudden I look at an old clip of 2 men in the, he was a senator at the time. And I'm hearing 2 young men yelling down at him while he was making a speech. And all they asked was, what are you going to do specifically for us? And he went on this long tirade. And then all of a sudden, at that time, before he became president, he disowns his pastor. At that time, he was invited to Ricky Smiley. Was it not Ricky Smiley? Is it Ricky Smiley? No, not Ricky Smiley. It's some other guy. It's platform. But he didn't want to be introduced to that. Then I find out who his real name is. Then I find out this nigga ain't born in Chicago. He was born in Hawaii with a African father, a Nigerian father, and a white mother.
And not be selfish.
Shut up. And I had to piece this all together as I got older. And I said, you know what? It's a farce. Whatever. I'll just give this a shot. And then he ran again against Mitt Romney. And the next thing I know, nothing was being done. So I understand where she's coming from. But people say he changed policies and he changed certain policies or whatever, and he finally got not Saddam Hussein. Who was it? Osama bin Laden. He finally got Osama bin Laden. Okay, we got people over here starving and shit. We got black homeless people starving. We got babies. We got unborn babies and shit. Like, what are we doing? And then I finally realized after nothing was being done, a whole lot of word salad, I just decided to hold my vote. And my family was getting on me. It's like, why aren't you voting for this person? Why aren't you voting for that person? Because I'm just gonna hold my vote until someone convinces me otherwise. I have that right. But I learned through my mentor is that you don't have to. I learned through Zoe Williams, you don't have to vote nationally. You can vote locally. You can vote for your local constituents. You can vote for your mayors, your governors, your senators, your legislators. You can vote for them. Because guess what? The difference between those people that you can talk to versus the people that you can barely reach until they come into your city. You can actually pick up the phone and express your concerns to these people, your legislators, your mayors, your governor. I've spoken to the mayor before about my situation when the whole COVID thing started. And I was complaining about, I wasn't getting my unemployment checks. Right? I was complaining about that. And at that time, it was under a different system. And it was lock and key. And the next thing I know, got my checks. I don't know if it was because of her or it was because somebody finally got a hold to this new system that was giving away or sending out unemployment checks, right? I don't know if it was that or different. I don't know, but it got the job done for me. Sorry to say, it got the job done for me. But enough about me. Let's get back to it.
Please don't come on the timeline complaining because the North remembers. We see you. And y'all act a fool and make yourselves look like fools every time. And all we're telling you is to just use the hindsight that you've been given. Hindsight is 20/20, but y'all insist on covering your eyes.
Like, share, while I'm continue playing this. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And do become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. And I have a question. I do have a question before we continue. Does anybody know how to transfer this over to StreamYard? I'm not computer savvy like that. It seems like every time I go into StreamYard, there's less of you. But I'm on my phone, there's more of you? Am I doing something wrong? I mean, be honest. I mean, I don't know. I'm blessed to have y'all, but I just need some pointers. But some pointers for me in the background while we play this good.
So good luck with that.
So she's saying good luck to any of you that are voting for Jasmine Crockett because she's going to screw you over.
So all the people that lack critical thinking skills that are saying that Jasmine Crockett is going to lose because y'all can't get over Israel, I want you to remember that she's running primaries right now. This is the primary. She's going up against another Democrat, James, who is
calling for a ban on weapons to Israel. She's going to lose because she is against universal health care and is for sending money to a country that has universal health care while the people in this country are suffering. People's healthcare premiums are about to be on the rise in January. Everybody's about to experience such drastic increases in their premiums in 2026 that it's going to cause people not to be able to go to the hospital, and it's going to result in people's death. She is against universal health care. That is why she's going to lose. She's also going to lose because she's in the same state that made people sign declarations to Israel before Gaza saying that they're not going to boycott Israel in order to receive FEMA money after Hurricane Harvey. She's going to lose because this is anti-American and people are sick of it. She's not going to lose because we can't get over Gaza. She's going to lose because she doesn't stand for anything. And what makes this weird is she doesn't even accept money from AIPAC. So her stance on Israel is out of her own volition. She's doing this because she wants to, not because she is being paid like all the other politicians are. You should be wary of somebody who wants to support a country committing a genocide after 2 years and doesn't have a reason for it.
Okay, I heard two different things. One, she's not getting paid for AIPACs, which she never took AIPAC's money, but she doesn't stand for anything. Well, okay, all right. She's not for universal health care, but I just read to you that she is for health care. And she's also for bumping the minimum wage. If that is not policy, I don't know what is. But comment in the comment section.
She's going to lose, but guess what? She's going to lose against a Democrat who actually is for these things, and I'm okay with that. Y'all need to get over this. This is the primaries. If you don't understand what primaries are, look it up. And you should watch the video below and how she answers the line of questioning, especially surrounding Israel's invasion of Lebanon and Israel's brutal use of the pagers where they set it off on random citizens, resulting in a little girl's death. Look at how she's answering that. She thinks Israel has a right to invade all the countries around them, and Israel has a right to self-defense, even though nobody was attacking them. Y'all might not like to think it, but Gaza is a litmus test. It is a litmus test moving forward. Every politician has to figure out where they stand. We did not spend the last 2 years watching a genocide unfold in front of our eyes to now just back up and say, okay, they're never going to change. Let's just continue to elect them. That's not happening no more. I don't know if that's how you like to vote, but that's not how I like to vote. I want to make sure the politicians are actually doing their jobs because they have not been doing their jobs up until this point. There's a reason why every single Democrat, Republican are all taking money from AIPAC because we have not done anything, and now is the time to do it.
It's really interesting watching.
Wait a minute. Again, contradiction. First, you said they're not taking money from AIPACs. But then you flip it on his head and you said, there are Democrats and Republicans, they're taking money from AIPACs. Which one is it? I understand and again, I get it. I understand the frustration, but this is not the way to handle it, people.
Watching this dynamic play out on the left, because it's a pretty similar dynamic on the right. The under 50-year-old right has completely soured on Israel. So is the left, but for completely different reasons. The left becomes a treat for you. This is Wesley Hunt obliterating Jasmine Crockett.
Maybe because these people, they are crazy because they always talk about how Christian they is. Yeah, I don't know how many of them on that side are getting divorced because they getting caught up sleeping with their co-workers, staffers.
And going after people and making ad hominem attacks that are basically unfounded and unsubstantiated because you think this is the Real Housewives or something like that is not serious. And what I really want people to understand is being United States Senator from the great state of Texas requires a certain level of understanding, requires a certain level of love for this country. It requires a fighter. And I want to talk about the things that are most germane to what Texans want. We want border security. We want low regulation. We want low taxes. And quite frankly, I really don't care about, I think what she said about what they is doing. It's really.
Buddy, half of what you want, Trump is not doing other than being slightly successful on the border. No one gives a damn what you think. You are on the lowdom of the totem pole. You're losing in the polls. You're losing you're not going to be in the prime. You're losing in the primary, sir. We don't hear you, and we don't care. All right. Other issues. So, true or false? Does she stand up? Is she pro-Israel? Not necessarily. I hate this pro stuff. It's either, and I understand it and I get it. It's either you're for or against. But again, I told you a long time ago, politicians are that. Politics for a reason. But then again, she voted no on two things and voted yes to one thing. But just because she supported them being funded, everybody, oh my God, it's a tragedy. Why did you do that? Again, why are we thinking about Israel? Don't we have problems here in the United States of America? Don't we have problems here at home? At home. At home. Do we have problems here at home? Absolutely. Now, let's hear some other stuff from Mrs. Jasmine Crockett that I was going to review the other day, but again, I was just tired. This was, I believe, yesterday.
Congresswoman, welcome back to the program. You told us last time we spoke that if polls show you can win, then you would run, but there isn't a single public-facing poll that shows you beating any of the three Republicans. So what do the internal polls say, and where do you see a path to victory?
Yeah, so we do have internal polls. I don't like to necessarily show my hand, but I wouldn't jump into this large of a race just because. So I will say that confidently, we do have polling that shows me ahead. But so as to not give a specific candidate anything to talk about, I'd rather not. It just doesn't make sense. Listen, this is not a game of checkers. This is a game of chess. But I am telling you confidently that I have polling that shows that. But more importantly, Jason, you and I have talked a lot about expanding the electorate and looking at the elections that we're seeing, just like yesterday, where there was a flip in Georgia, which is down south, just like seeing down in Miami, where they flipped a seat that had been red for the last 30 years. I am telling you that what we need to do is we need to energize people and give them someone that they can believe in to be their fighter, someone that they know to be their fighter. And according to our polling, we were able to excite that very coalition that we would need to not only just have what the general poll is saying, but maybe even expand those numbers a little bit in case the general polling is a little off, which we've seen here and there, specifically in the state of Texas.
You announced your candidacy with an hour left before the filing deadline. Why wait until the last minute?
Yeah, so there were a couple of things about this. You know, this was a very difficult decision, as I stated at that time. In addition to that, if I was going to file, I needed to know what the Supreme Court was going to do. So the Supreme Court only told us a couple of days prior to the end of filing. If there was anyone that started to really mess us up in the state of Texas, it was definitely the Supreme Court, because we didn't even have those lines. And I'll also tell you that most people started talking about me potentially being in this race when I did an interview on Sirius XM. And in that interview, Laree, she was asking me about the redistricting. She asked me about the Senate race. And I said to her, if they want to snatch House seats, I may have to snatch their Senate seat. Listen, I want people to know that this race is bigger than just this particular race, is bigger than Texas, but also think about those down ballot races that now they're saying, listen, we've got 5 seats that were taken. But if Democrats continue to swing at the rates that we've been swinging, which is no less than a 10-point swing, then they may have thought they were doing the Republicans a favor, but they may have been doing them a disservice. And if you have a candidate that can bring out so many more Texans, I think that we may be able to actually even get over the Supreme Court. And so I took all these things into consideration. I also wanted to try to work, because there were candidates, as I said very publicly, that I thought would be great assets potentially to the ticket because of their fundraising prowess, because of their name ID, because of a specific demographic that is very close with them to the extent that they have a rapport and would actually come out specifically for them. And so I was engaged in those conversations. up until the last minute, trying to see if I could figure out what we could do to give Texas its best shot.
People know you.
Barb, are you in here? I don't know if I lost because the comments haven't been going. Hold on. Hold on. I don't see. I think my comment said. Put a comment in the comment section for me, please. Put a comment in the comment section for me, please. Try to connect. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so it's something. Okay, I thought it was my phone tripping. My bad.
You as a fighter, but let's talk about policy for a moment here. If you were to win and represent Texas in the Senate, what are the top two issues you would pursue?
Yeah, so for me, it's definitely going to be voting rights.
Wait a minute. For those who say she doesn't have any policies, I need people to listen up.
I definitely got to make sure that I throw that in there, but it's housing, and it's immigration. So
hey, Trish,
I'm going to lay out why it's those three, and then we'll move on. So number one, voting rights, that's where we get the opportunity to have our representation. And it is clear that we've been thrown into chaos with the chaos leader that we have because we did not have in place a voting rights act like historically we had the Voting Rights Act, which had been signed into law by LBJ. That's number one. So when we're looking at, will we get the healthcare that we need? Will we get access to the education that we need? Will we get access to someone who will listen to the needs of the people? We have to make sure that we're going to be clear about the lines that are drawn. So I think you don't get anything without fair lines. And so that's why voting rights would be number one on the list for me. Number two, though, would have to be housing. Because right now people are hurting. Struggling right now. And so when you're looking at things like, am I going to be able to buy a home? In fact, when we look at the 24 election, we know that most young people were saying, I can't afford to buy a home. And if you can't afford to buy a home, then you can't start to build that generational wealth.
Wait a minute. Let me put some more hot sauce on that something, bitch. But for those who say that she does not have any policies, all you so-called Negroes out there who proclaim that she is to come out with the policies, need we say once again, as a matter of fact, I'm just going to rewind just a little bit. Is that the ice cream truck? I think that's the ice cream truck.
So as we start to talk about this wealth gap and how something completely different is being carried out, we know that there are people that are telling us every single day. In fact, I had a hearing in the Senate just yesterday. So on my first day back, I had my first hearing in the Senate, which is kind of serendipitous, but nevertheless. So we had a joint hearing and we heard from 5 U.S. citizens. They are all of, not all of Latino descent, but the vast majority of them were. Yeah. And they were talking about what had happened to them. They had talked about being shot at. They had talked about being incarcerated. And it was all because of...
Those are not policies. Then you tell me, sir or ma'am, what is a policy? You tell me, sir or ma'am, what is a policy? We're going to get into it. We're going to definitely get into it. So you tell me, what is a policy? The investment part. The interesting part about Devin Crocker is she spoke legal estate. Excuse me. Federally, she dumbed down her language. Why do you support that was? I don't get what that. You have to redo your question in there. I have never heard of Crockett until Trump. Yeah. But what about? But I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting on what do you think is a policy? Since she's all talk, what's a policy? She been talking about policies. No. I want her. I want this particular individual to answer. What policy did she put forward in Congress? Healthcare, immigration reform. Those are policies. Let me refresh y'all's memory. Immigration reform, environmental policies. Those are particular policies. Oh, my bad, y'all. I totally forgot. Damn, how did it slip by me? My bad, Valicina. My bad, y'all. My bad. Hold on. I got you, boo. I got you. It's not the policy per se. It's the money. You want reparations, don't you? You want her to say the word reparations, even though she mentioned some other stuff that could, if you work at it, can get you wealthy and you can create generational wealth for yourself. How does it help Black people? Well, don't they create jobs? Have you read the brochure? Free is a state of mind. Being free here is a state of mind. Hey, boo-boo. Freedom is a state of mind. If you're free your mind, if you tell your mind to do something, it will do it. A long time ago, when my gas pedal went out, I told myself, I'm going to go ahead and replace that gas pedal. And I did. State of mind. You're just stuck on one thing, immigration. You must be white. So immigration. You're just stuck on that one thing. You know, all white folks say the same thing. Immigrants are taking our jobs. Immigrants they're taking our jobs. They're taking our women. They're having sex with them. We used to be 85% back in the late 1900s. We were 85%. Now fast forwarding, we're 30%. We're losing. We're freaking losing. If they're losing, who's winning? We're not. Black folks ain't won a damn thing. What are we winning? If white people are losing and they complain that they're losing, I would like to know who's winning. Because it ain't us. That is crazy. But I'm losing sight of what it is. I want to focus on this lovely chocolate sister, and her name is Jasmine Crockett.
She jumped in, and she jumped in big.
Why the hell does it always?
We had a joint hearing, and we heard from 5 U.S. citizens. They are all of, well, not all of Latino descent, but the vast majority of them were. Yeah. And they were talking about what had happened to them. They had talked about being shot at. They had talked about being incarcerated. And it was all because of the color of their skin. So regardless as to whether or not they believe that we should be stronger on immigration, what's happening right now, violating people's due process rights, that is something where people are being racially targeted. And I think that you can't run for this type of seat
and not address that when 41% of the state is Latino.
If she has your vote, then please go to change.org. Go to change.org. Go to change.org, change.org/swearing Jasmine Crockett for U.S. Senate. Swearing Jasmine Crockett for U.S. Senate. Again, if you have her full support, then you will go to change.org/swearing Jasmine Crockett for U.S. Senate.
You're well known among Democrats. You're popular with progressives. Probably less so, though, with Texas independents. And those independents, as you know, though, lean conservative here in this state. What's your plan to go meet them?
Yeah, listen, I think you just talk about the real issues. I mean, you can decide that you're going to vote for a DRR because it's just kind of what makes sense, or you can decide that you're going to vote for somebody that understands the struggle of the farmer and the rancher, or what it is to live in rural Texas.
All right, Stephen, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to the UK.
Still own property. So I know
there's a lot of black people in the UK.
The paper plant.
Thank you.
I know what it is when there's a threat about shutting down the tire plant. I know what it is when you don't have those specialists right there in your area and you have to travel to Dallas to go see a specialist. So I understand these things. I always have. And so I think engaging in conversations that matter, whether we're talking about the fact that there's a lack of access to healthcare, or whether we're talking about the fact that there is a record number of bankruptcies that are being filed by our farmers, or whether we're talking about the fact that in the state of Texas, we do trade big. And right now with these tariffs, that is hurting so many businesses, especially our small businesses, or whether we're talking about the fact that you don't know how it is that you're going to pay for your child to go to college. And right now we have a Department of Education that is making it more difficult for you to get those funds. And instead it's becoming a matter of the haves versus the have-nots. And so I think having these real conversations, talking about making sure that people have access.
She does not understand any of these things. Why? Because she's black? Oh, or is it because she's a black woman? I mean, which one is it?
To capital to start their own businesses, making sure that people aren't being told, oh, yes, you can get into a home so long as you sign a 50-year loan in which you'll pay some ridiculous amount of money over that time. I think we should just focus on the issues. And at the end of the day, I think that we'll find that we have more in common than not. The last point that I'll make is that I received an email specifically from a man. I looked at it this morning, and I think I'm going to keep looking at this email from Mark. And this was an email from a man named Mark that lives in Texas, and he was asking me to run for Senate. So this is prior to me getting in the race. And Mark told me about
So because she grew up rich, like that's such 0.8, I'll give it 1%. Hell, I grew up rich. Not. I mean, I grew up decent. My mother worked at, hold on a second. Wait, because Jasmine Crockett grew up, and let me save you the trouble. Because she grew up somewhere else before she enters the state of Texas, because she grew up with a little bit of money in her pocket from some well-established parents who had the guts, the decency to get up off their asses and provide for not just for themselves, but for their daughter, she's privileged. She has no idea what she's talking. I guess those years in college, those 4 or 6 years in college, however the hell she had to go to school for to become a fucking lawyer, it makes a permanent difference. I mean, it was a waste of time. It must have been a waste of time. I don't know. I'm on my Stephen A. Smith kick. It must have been a fucking waste of time. I don't know. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. It was a waste of time for her spending all those years in college and her being the best that she can be. That's all we ask of our daughters and our sons, to be the best that we can be, regardless if she has money or not. That makes all the difference in the world. I see why you people have gone apeshit. What? I'm ranting. Yam nyorim de kyu. Okay, we're good. Cause she got money, ain't you?
The fact that he had historically been a Republican and he just can't bring himself to call himself a Republican nowadays, but that's who he is. And he told me that he doesn't agree with me on a lot of issues, but he said, we need your leadership and your clarity in this moment because the Republican Party has lost its way. I think there are more marks out there than not. People that see through the nonsense and recognize that people are weaponizing these labels and trying to make people be scared of me. But at the end of the day, I'm a Texan. I want to be safe like everybody else in my home. I want to make sure that those kids that are growing up in my neighborhood, that they have opportunities to recognize the American dream. I want to make sure that when we're doing immigration, we're doing it smart and we're not letting bad folk in, but instead we're making sure that those people that have real asylum cases or whatever contributions they're trying to make to our country, that those are the ones that are getting in. And frankly, I think it's abysmal that we have lost 1.1 million jobs, and it's not even been a year since this administration has been in. I also think that it is terrible that on my launch day, I had a mother come to me and say, I was going to send my son to you to see if he could get a Service Academy nomination. But under this administration, I am scared to send my son into the service, and all he wants to do is serve our country. But as a mother, I am scared because I don't trust the people at the top to do what's right and do right by my son. That is a shame.
I had to go back to that because that was just so funny. That was just so amazing that you would come out your mouth and type with the fingers that you have, or if you have fingers. I don't know. I don't know. This is the end. I don't know. I don't know if you're black, white, handicapped, whatever. But you had the nerve to come out your mouth and enter into the internet stating that she got money. She's rich. Well, you know, Barb, thank you for hitting me upside the dome piece. Donald Trump, did we forget that Donald Trump is very privileged? And he was given a trust fund of $1 million. Now, I don't know if Jasmine got a trust fund of $1 million. Doesn't sound like it, because if there were any black people who are privileged like that, God bless you. God bless you. Because number one, it's needed. I wish all of us, I wish all of us were blessed like that. I wish all of us were blessed like that. I can send my kids to whatever college they want. Hey, you want to go to Spelman? You want to go to Morehouse? You want to go to University of Columbus? You want to go to the University of Michigan? Be my guest. But Donald Trump's father, Fred Trump, who is an ex-Klan member, gives his son $1 million. And all of a sudden, no one says anything. But let Jasmine Crockett, and oh, by the way, if that lady who was yelling out, did you know she lived in a rich neighborhood or whatever she said? Y'all remember that stupid video that went viral? This is the prejudice. This is the prejudiceness of it all. And you have to realize how prejudice works, how racism works. There can never, it was hard enough for Barack Obama to be in office. Yet alone, it's going to be even harder for a black woman. We got a lot to learn. We got a lot to learn. We got a lot to learn. Black women, I'm not saying that black women are all powerful, all knowing, and all what. No, I'm not saying that. But they're just as capable and is just as worthy as a black man who was in office for 8 years. But having a woman in office, I second that's gonna be a real turnoff for America. Y'all act like white folks is just gonna just kill themselves right off the bat. Once she's inaugurated, it's like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Oh my God, how we're gonna live? They're gonna destroy us. It's bad enough that we got Jake Long running around here acting all sedity and shit, acting like he lost his privileges and shit, acting like he lost his privilege card. Please stop. Just stop. Anyway, let me tell you, that's just stupid.
Democratic primary voters, though, are going to see you and James Tallarico on the ballot first. What would you tell them? I've read a lot of online chatter who say, why in the world are the two best Democrats in this state running against each other? How are you most different from him?
I think it's probably experience. At this point in time, I think everyone will agree that we're living in unprecedented times, and let's hope that we never have times like this again. But we know that I've been on the state level. We know that I currently serve on the federal level. And by the time we get through this election, it would have been about approximately 4 years. This is a big job. And so I think that there's more question marks. There's tons of receipts for who I've been on the federal level, for what my advocacy will look like. And regardless of what people try to say or how they try to paint me, the facts are the facts, right? We know for a fact that I've actually worked across the aisle. We know for a fact that prior to entering into this very competitive primary, our senator had nothing but good things to say about me. Me and Senator Cornyn have worked together on things where we could find common ground. Senator Cornyn made it clear that when I got to Congress, if there was something that I felt like was smart and good for Texans, that I should come to him. I should not look for a Democrat on the Senate side. And so we've worked on fentanyl legislation together. We've worked on food security bills together. And frankly, I've worked with other Republicans to make sure that we got an ARPA-H location into my district in 30. It was Kay Granger, who was the Republican chair of appropriations, that helped me kind of co-lead this effort to bring together Republicans in our region. So, there are documents and letters showing that I have worked together for what was good for Texas. And it was only Texas. Texas was the only red state that ended up getting one of those ARPA-H locations. And what that meant was investments right there in Texas 30. What it meant was diversity in our trials. What it meant was exploring and trying to make sure that we were ready and prepared, hopefully for the next pandemic that hopefully is not coming too soon. These are the things that I've done. Like, this is just the record. Those are not the things that actually go viral. And so I think that when it comes down to it, when people are like, should we take a chance or should we go with what we know? I think that that's really the biggest difference. I don't think, obviously I worked with James on the state level. And so it's been a while since we've worked together.
Do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And support the channel if you like the content.
But I think that that's really the biggest difference. And I think beyond that, you have someone who has a lot higher name ID. My name ID is close to twice as high as James Tallarico's name ID. And so with that, we are going into a race where I personally believe we have to expand the electorate. But if the basic electorate, which is where we're getting the name ID numbers from, if they don't know who you are, I don't know how you then go beyond that and go and grab up other people. We can do this, but it is going to take a heavy lift. And the final point that I'll make is, like I have traveled this country on behalf of Democrats everywhere. I have never put self first. I have always put what mattered most to the American people first. That includes campaigning in California for Prop 50. That includes campaigning in Pennsylvania to make sure that they retain their judges just in case something goes crazy and we have to have election cases that go up to them. That means making sure that I campaigned in Virginia for Abigail Spanberger. That means that I went into Florida and tried to get Debbie Murkowski across the finish line in Florida for the Senate. And I could go on and on and on and on. Well, what has happened is that I've put in a lot of goodwill. And so instead of just relying on those in Texas to help us organize and make those phone calls and potentially get on doors, I've already, part of me waiting, so to speak, I was working. We're going to call it my working period. We're not going to call it my waiting period. I was calling and I was asking people, I was asking elected officials all over this country, if I do this, we have the earliest primary. Our primary is at the beginning of March, along with Arkansas. It's just the two of us. So I was like, listen, people will need something to do. Can you agree that you will get your volunteers to help us out in Texas? And so I have some of those assurances. And so I am able to expand the organizing effort beyond just Texas. But absolutely, we're going to go in, we're going to get Texas fired up, in addition to making sure that the rest of the country understands how important this seat is to our democracy as a whole, and therefore gets involved.
Colin.
Any questions, any concerns thus far? I mean, the truth is out there that she is willing and able to do the job for I suck at numbers and I suck at math, but the number of people that she had when she was in the House, it's way up in those numbers. It's like 30,000 more people. But mind you, same pay. So any questions, any concerns? Why do you think that she is able to run for Senate, or why is she not able to run for Senate? Please feel free in the comments. Feel free to comment. But the truth is, do I think she is capable of doing? Absolutely. It's not because she's loud. It's not because she's exciting, but I take the exciting part back. She is exciting to those individuals, and she'll be excited for a whole hell of a lot more. But we got a long way to go. A long way to go to November. Now, we can do early voting in March, which March is around the corner. We can do early voting in March, but when November hits, put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is. And I have no doubt that she'll win the primary. No doubt about that. But she's going to have to keep up with it more and more. And more importantly, this is the true and false thing, right? The truth, the false narrative for me is that she says that let me start over. There are people out there, including consumers, consumers, Black ones, who proclaim that she does not reach her young audience. We're going to show you in a minute. Who she connects with. And it's not just elderly people. Thank you.
Already dropped out of the race for Senate. Do you plan to reach out to him to ask for his endorsement?
I will let you know. I feel like you're trying to get into my conversations. I'm not going to tell you.
Did you have a conversation?
You'll know what you know when you know it, is what I'm going to tell you on that one.
Have you had a conversation with him?
I will tell you that Colin Allred and I have been friends for quite some time. And so we've had multiple conversations as things have played out in general. I'm gonna leave it at that, because one thing that I don't ever do, so when there's reports about things that have happened, unless they can cite myself or the other person on the other line, chances are the reports are false. But I don't go against someone and betray their confidences. So I'll just say that I've had multiple conversations with Colin already about various things.
Before I let you go, I want to ask your thoughts on Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's had a mea culpa. She has, she's not running again. She's been critical of President Trump, something that a lot of people thought they'd never see. You've famously clashed with her multiple times. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, maybe we can team up. Maybe I can get her to Texas, since we seem to be on the same team now. No, I think it's really telling. I crumbling around the president. We know that Marjorie has been one of the fiercest, most loyal supporters of the president in all ways. And for her to feel as if she should go against him, it has to be really, really bad. This is someone who took on our former president, sitting on the floor in the State of the Union and having a MAGA hat and trolling him and doing all these things. But I think that people should not forget who Marjorie has always been, number one. I want you to always remember who she's been. But I do think that it is important for people to understand the political violence element. This is the part of this that I don't want to be downplayed. As people are like, oh, why run and this and that and whatever, it is a real sacrifice, because when you put yourself out there and when you are brave enough and confident enough to stand up to arguably the most powerful person in the world and tell him he's wrong when he is, right? Telling him he's wrong, not because they believe he's right, but because they're scared. And so once Marjorie got on his bad side, she started to feel what it's like to be me every single day. And so while she's not ushered in an apology directly to anyone, she has kind of seemingly said that she regretted any role that she played in this, because being a fierce and loyal supporter and allowing this type of vitriol to play out in the way that it's played out, I've never disclosed a lot of things that have happened to me. But I look at the hate that is thrown at me and I think about, what that means, that I am actually effective. That means that I am doing something. And so I'm not going to back down. When people were kind of trying to do things to keep me out of this race, I remember having a conversation with someone that will most likely be on my staff. And I said, these people have no idea who they're talking to. I'm like, the more you taunt me, the more that it tells me that that's exactly where I'm supposed to be. So I think that it is important, no matter if you are red or blue or independent, I think it is important that we understand that when Marjorie and Jasmine Crockett are saying the same thing about what happens when you're on the other side of Donald Trump, you should probably believe us, because there's not much that we actually agree upon. And I think it's important that while the tone is set at the top, I think it's important, because of the tone that has been set at the top, that we down here start to set an example for him to follow.
Congresswoman, it's good to see you. Thank you for the time.
Thanks, Jason.
Oh. Mm-mm. 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 Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. But that's only one part of it. Give me a minute while I refresh myself. This cool drink. All right. So we all know as of right now, but like I said, we got till November. In November, that's so many months away. But you can do early voting in March. And then again in November. And then once she wins the primary, then it's the big prize. It's like the NBA Finals. To get to the NBA Finals, you got to win the playoffs. Sorry for the NBA analogy. But I believe she can get it. I definitely believe that she is tough enough, smart enough, eager enough. You have to have a little bit of ego. You have to have a little bit of ego to win. And I'm talking about this much. She ain't smart, you must be white. So I think so. So when you say she's not smart, you thinking she. I'm thinking Donald Trump supporter. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. There's too much of these Trump supporters. Way too much of these Trump supporters. All right. Now, going into this next segment. True or false? Is she an advocate of the younger generation when it comes to the voters? People say no, she is not an advocate for the younger voters. Let me educate you on a small sample size, if I could. Just a small sample size.
Very important for Black voters to be engaged in the community. It's our civic right, and we must be able to commit to what we fought for.
Hey, look, y'all just see, I ain't even planning to say it. I'm just saying, he know what's up. Now, it is up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie York, a junior majoring in political science at Southern University, and I have the pleasure to be with Congressman William Jackson.
Can people see that? People see. I want you to be. I wanted to be precise. She said, "I am white, and I think she is very intelligent." Well, thank you for that. It's a very large majority of you that thinks she's not intelligent, that thinks she is low IQ. But I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you at all. I'm not going to. Because like I said, it's a very small thing. Hell, Bernie Sanders supported Martin Luther King back in the day. It's all good. It is all good. But can anybody see that? You can see it. I don't wanna dupe you like that. I'm gonna try to make it a little bit bigger. Excuse me. I'm gonna try to make it a little bit bigger. But let me go here to the source. Politics is heavy, boy. I blame you, Barb. I do blame you. And I blame you. Oh, politics. But we gotta behave. We must behave. I'm gonna get to where I need to get to real quick so y'all can go about y'all merry way. Cause I know y'all got the wife and the wife, the husband, the boyfriend, the girlfriend thing to do today. So I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and do that. But first, where did I see that at? Where did I see that at? And I will be buying the shirts. I will be buying the t-shirts. They definitely are the right fit. So I will definitely have to. I definitely have to. Oh, that was a Jasmine Crockett representative. Jasmine Crockett level. Let me see if I can find that. See if I can find that real quick. There's people that say yet again that she does not represent the young people. If I can't find it, I'll just go back to where I was. Which it is true that you do have to appeal to the young folks of today and not yesteryears. I'm talking about middle age, 30 and 50. I'm talking about people from 18 to 30. You have to appeal to those people. And they say that she doesn't appeal. According to the polls, she doesn't appeal to anyone. But damn.
I want people to
Donald Trump he needs to be careful with that insulin. He need to be careful with that insulin, god dang it. I saw that, man.
This is not about the people of Texas.
Ah, shut up. Okay. I'll just have to go this thing.
Question. When it comes to the citizens of Louisiana, what advice would you give to them to be politically engaged?
Yeah. So first of all, if you are a Southern like Jaden, listen, but you are a Texas resident, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and mail out for that vote by mail application starting on January 1. We gotta win this thing. But nevertheless, no matter where you're from, make sure you are staying engaged. They are counting on you to not participate. Listen, Louisiana has done better. Even recently, y'all had a Democratic governor. Don't let people tell y'all that y'all can't have nice and good things. Right now, we know y'all's governor, well, he ain't about, you know what. So, I'm just saying, this has to be on us. They want you to believe that the power doesn't belong to the people, but the power will always belong to us in a democracy. Don't let them play in your faces. Make sure that you are getting out there and you are supporting candidates that support you instead of, boo-booing on you like the president did with that little video. But nevertheless, no, I just want you to be engaged. And again, if you are a Texan living in Louisiana, I'm gonna need you to engage in this campaign because we need all of it.
Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. It's very important for Black voters to be engaged in the community. It's our civic right, and we must be able to commit to what we fought for.
Hey, look, y'all I ain't even playing to say it. I'm just saying, he know what's up. Now, it is up.
Sound like some young folks to me. Sound like some young voters that she was speaking with to me. But then again, we have all of November. We're still in December. We are still in December, fam. So January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. We got 13, we got 12 months. Damn near a whole year. So let's just see. Let's just wait. Let's be patient. Let's just wait. Let's just see. Let's just have patience. Patience is not one of our best virtues, isn't it? But that's the truth of it all. She appeals to your intellect, everyone's intellect. But you have to do your part, and you have to make sure that she does hers. If you are a young voter and you have the connection, because again, I'm not from Texas. I'm not here in the state of Texas. I'm here in the state of Nevada. Anybody from the state of Texas, I'm already over the cold skip to May. That's cool. If you are in the state of Texas, if you know people in the state of Texas, you know how hard this is going to be. So if you're from the state of Texas, I'm going to need you to go ahead and vote. Vote, 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 vote. If you are Jasmine Crockett, and I'm speaking to her specifically, and I may or may not have her on this little Humpty Bumpty of a show. I got to get it together first. If you, and again, I need tips and pointers on how to. StreamYard is very funky, but why am I getting? Never mind, I'll figure it out. But anyway, if you are Jasmine Crockett, thank you for the gift. Thank you for the gift. If you are Jasmine Crockett, you need to. First of all, enough with the Donald Trump stuff. We all know how you feel. We all feel the same way that you do. We all do. But despite of how you feel about him, that's not the main focus. The main focus, as she should know, is the core. I would start here. Start with the youngins. That's what I would do. Appeal to your youngins. Appeal to the youngins. The youngins are the future. Are they not? The youth are the future of what is to happen going forward. The youth is the future to what's happened, what will happen, and future and beyond. You cannot stop at just middle-aged and elderly folks, because the elderly folks are going to be pretty much gone. No disrespect to the elderly people, but facts are facts. Y'all are going to be gone. And the middle-aged people are going to be where you're at. So you have to appeal to the youngins. Why do they vote for you? Why would they vote for you? Let me see if I can find this one. Why would they vote for you? Why should they vote for you? Remind you what your policies are going to be. Maybe you need to add on some policies. Maybe you need to add on some policies. Maybe we need to talk about minimum wage, because minimum wage in Texas is still, correct me if I'm wrong, $7.50. Somewhat similar to here, but here it's $8.50. Ooh, what a dollar would a change be. Oh my God. That minimum wage needs to in line with as far as the economy. Let me see if I can say this right. Let me see if I can say this correctly. The minimum wage needs to line up with everything else as far as where your job is. Pretty much it just needs to be bumped up. Now, a decent wage would be, for me, $20 an hour. But someone said to me, the whole economy would be corrupted and people would lose their jobs. You got ownership that will lose money. Yeah, ownership that will lose money, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Bullshit. Because you have this one thing called insurance, and you have this other thing called product. If you don't have insurance, you don't have product, you ain't having a business. And I understand because of the tariff. I do understand because of the tariffs and how they are presented in price range. You're going to be paying a smooth amount of money, which is fucking ridiculous. But he had to scale back. Donald Trump had to scale back a couple of tariffs, which are taxes, by the way. So, with you paying some significant amount of goods from different countries, and then you bringing it back, and then you have to scale it at a particular price. And if the customers are willing to buy it for that particular price, then over time, you should have enough. You should have enough in revenue to pay a certain. I'm getting it. A certain amount of money to your employee base. How many employees are you going to employ is up to you. Now, when it comes to this economy, with everything still up, still going up, the price, the gas prices are still up. Gas prices are up. What am I talking about? Gas prices are up like $2 or $3 or something like that. It's bad. It's no different from LA. It's a little bit different from LA because I know LA is like $6 or something like that. LA is ridiculous. Here it's ridiculous. In other places, you might catch something like $2.93 or something, but that's like a promotion or something because you're buying groceries and you're buying people's product and they give you like a cash discount or something like that, and you might be able to reduce it down to a certain percentage, like $2 and something, $2.92 or something like that. But after that promotion is gone, then boom, then it's back to wherever it was. I think it should start off at 20. There are a couple of places here in Las Vegas, Nevada, who will pay started minimum wage that much. The problem is job freezing. That's the problem with America right now is job freezing. There are a lot of job freezes. I don't know if it's apropos where you're from, but where I'm from in Las Vegas, Nevada, there are some job freezes. And there are a lot of people who have lost their jobs. And we're talking about hardworking individuals who have been at their place of business for over 10 years and they have lost their jobs, which is totally unfair and totally uncool. And unemployment ain't going to cover half of that. So with that being said, I have more faith in God than anything. But with this individual, because we got to start somewhere, with Jasmine Crockett, if you are in the Texas area, bring that to her attention. Bring minimum wage to her attention and see if she is willing to put that in a policy or something, or she'll mention it. And if she does mention it, or she puts that in a policy, and if she actually does what she said she's going to do, then cool. Nurses lost jobs for not getting the jab. Well, what you can do about that? Well, let me ask you, Walter. Did they get, what was it? The religious resent? Did they get the religious exemption? Like a piece of paper, a former piece of paper said this is against what I stand for? Because you can get what's called a religious resentment. If you're Catholic or a Christian, this is against my beliefs to get the jab. Or what they used to do over here is that if you didn't get the jab, you have to be tested every week. And when you get tested every week with the swab the swab of the nose, which I hated that. Ugh. You get the swab of the nose, and then they have to report it back to your job. And then they have an app saying, did you get tested? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And report it back to your job. Your job gets it, you're good. But you have to get that swab each and every single week. They don't do that anymore. I tested yeah. You had to do that every single week, which was terrible. Yeah, every single Monday I went, because it takes a couple of days for the results to come in. But once you get that test results into your boss, you're good. You're very, very good. And you have to wear a mask. But what's more terrible than anything? They would say, "Oh, if you get the jab, then guess what? You get a free PlayStation." Is it worth it? I don't know if it was a free PlayStation, a free Xbox, or a free Nintendo Switch. I don't know. I was looking at it like, yeah, free Xbox? Nah, hell no. Hell no, my pastor wasn't willing to. Then shame on him. You need to switch churches. I didn't say switch guys, switch churches. If your pastor refused to get, because I don't know if my pastor did it or my wife's pastor did it. Whatever. I am mad at my wife still for getting my babies the shot. But hey, if they start growing out limbs, and you know what, there are ways to flush out all that crap. There are ways, but it starts affecting your child, often, and the things that they force upon us is just frustrating. But then again, what if I told you it was HIV that they were trying to flush down your bloodstream? Newsflash. What if it was? Be careful what you put in your body. And then they want you to come back, and then they want you to come back, and then they want you to come back for a third time. I'm like, what? You want me to come back for a third time? Like, what up with that? But yet, not going into too much of that, because we all know that Bill Gates is trying to destroy Black people as a whole. And we also know that he got kicked out of Burkina Faso. We all know that he got kicked out of Burkina Faso for trying to put in those little, what you call those malarial, I don't know, these big ass bugs out there, and trying to grab some farmland out there and try to, poison the waters, as well as poison the soil out there, just like he's doing here in the United States of America. Yeah. All the food's poison, the water's poison. It's ridiculous. But have no fear. That's why you need things like this. You need this type of thing right here with a filter in it. Well, this doesn't have a filter, but my cup does. My cup does. And once you get a filter in it, you can put the tap water into the cup. A few minutes, few seconds, it becomes alkaline water. That's what you need stored into your system. That's what you need stored into your system. Now, yet, we don't have hate on hate. Everybody put in the chat, oh, hate.
hate, keep hating, keep on hate, 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 hating, hate, hate.
33rd Congressional District, which will action from Congress of our coverage tomorrow morning, campaign before hundreds of supporters Monday in South Dallas. And during her speech, she explained why she jumped into the race and had a clear message to those who doubt her ability to win the primary and general election.
But the more I saw the poll results, I couldn't ignore the trends, which were clear, both as it relates to
reason.
Jasmine Crockett is the gift that keeps on giving. She will turn out the Republican vote in a higher level than any Democrat who's ever run for office in the history of Texas. Every Republican will come out of wherever they are next November to vote against Jasmine Crockett.
As we said, there were a number of political dominoes that fell for Democrats as Congresswoman Crockett announced her run for Senate. When Colin Allred dropped out of the Senate race, he joined Congresswoman Julie Johnson in the Democratic primary for the newly drawn 33rd Congressional District, which will only now be in Dallas County. She succeeded Allred in office after he ran against Senator Ted Cruz last year. 2 other Democrats are vying for this Democrat majority seat. We asked Allred why he chose this race and why he decided against running for U.S. Senate.
It was a difficult one. We put a lot into this Senate race. And also there were a lot of folks that I met along the way who, put their faith in me and their trust in me and told me their personal stories, within a minute of meeting me. And I felt that came with a certain level of responsibility to do what I thought was not only best for the state, but for them. And I thought that
Yeah, people are losing their jobs because of that mess, but you can actually, well, I don't know if you can actually sue them because it's policy. Once they put that in the policy, it's law. So you have to protect yourself by getting that religious resentment. Once you get the religious resentment, you got to show that to your bosses that this is against my religion. It gets all what it entails, blah, 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 blah. They can't fire you for that. But you have to be aware of where you are, and you have to be aware of the laws that entails, because this is a right to work state here in the state of Nevada. They can fire you for anything. Hell, they can fire you for smiling. So just be careful with that. Get your religious resentment. If they're still doing, I don't think they're doing that anymore because they're not advocating for masks anymore. People are still wearing masks in 2025. I do not know why. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. You have chemicals. You're around chemicals. You're around germs every single day. Wash your hands.
bruising primary and runoff was not in their interest, but that I could serve in another way in this newly drawn district that did not exist until the Supreme Court just recently basically said that these maps were going to stand, and that allows me to represent my home and to go back to Congress with a focus on tackling corruption and costs and what I think are the threats to the Constitution by this president in a way that was what I wanted to do in the Senate, but now I can do it.
Reported that Congresswoman Crockett asked you to drop out of the race. Did that have anything to do with your decision?
Well, I spoke with Jasmine. We had a professional conversation, but that really wasn't my determining factor. What I really did want to do, though, was to think about what I thought was best for the state.
You're going to be in a primary district. Is that going to be a bruising fight against Congresswoman Julie Johnson, who also wants to stay in Congress?
Well, I think this is part of the result of Donald Trump and the Supreme Court successfully gerrymandering our
on homesteads is possible, but not all at once.
Jack, once you free someone's value, as we do now for 65, appraisals don't matter to them. Out of our 6 million homeowners in Texas, 3.3 million will have their appraisals frozen for the rest of their life. That's significant. It's a different way of getting at that issue without the appraisal caps that only make taxes go up in the short and long term. The appraisals, for the most part, have been taken off the table anyway. Jack, people get their value in the spring, their appraisal, but they don't look at the tax bill. And so the appraisal used to be, if your appraisal went up 8% or 7%, your taxes went up 7 or 8. That's just not been the case since 2021. We changed it in 2019. And how did we do that? Because we limited how much local government can spend or their revenues can increase, 3.5%. So as the values go up, they have to lower the tax rate. But the best thing you can do is just to freeze them. So coming down to 55 is significant. And if you talk to seniors today, and you can look, Jack, you can always go out and find some.
Wasn't there something of a sort of, wasn't there something to sort of, something about Donald Trump, you putting a loan on a house for 50 years or something like that? $50-year mortgage? How does that work? A 50-year mortgage. What's going on?
Why is that happening? Okay. But the average senior isn't paying any more school taxes for the rest of their life. That's just the fact. And those who may still pay, it's been cut by 85 or 90%. Overall, since 2021, we've cut school taxes about $2,000 overall. And so when people look at their tax bill, and most counties, you have to. Once we eliminate all school taxes, which I think we can do in total for everyone in 2 or 3 sessions total, once you get that done, well, that's 40% of a property tax bill that's just going to go away.
So you're saying you can eliminate school property taxes on homesteads?
On homesteads
for everybody, no matter their age?
In several more sessions. You can't do it all at once. It's just, we've been doing this, remember, we started. Then to 40,000, then to 100,000, then to 140. So the cumulative impact is why we are where we are. You can't do it overnight. But when we go to 55, we're going to eliminate property taxes, school property taxes. It'll be frozen because I believe that bill will pass, by the way. I think it'll be so popular. We've had such great response from it. People are excited, even if they're 49. Hey, I'm going to get my taxes frozen in 5 years instead of 15 years. It's a big deal. And then you continue to raise the homestead exemption for the under 65, and you can get there over several sessions. I haven't looked at the governor's plan closely, and we're not in competition. I'm not competing with him on my tax plan, his tax plan. The great news, Jack, is when I got elected as a senator and as lieutenant governor, the truth is I was the only fighter for lowering property taxes, the only one. And now everybody's with us. And so we're going to get there to a good conclusion. We can get rid of all school property taxes. We've already done it for the average senior over 65. It's now going to be the person over 55. And we just keep, we can lower that to maybe 50. We can lower it to 45. Get down to your age bracket. You're a young guy. So we can do that with a
Stop raising the homestead. The way to do it.
Stop it.
Keep continuing to raise the homestead exemption and perhaps continuing to lower the age of where the home values are frozen.
Right. Yeah, it's a combination. Just think of it this way. When people say, well, how do you know seniors out there, the average senior's not paying any more school taxes? Or the average, most of them. There's going to always be someone who says, no, I'm still paying a little.
You would freeze and lower tax costs when it comes to housing. But what about healthcare? What about the premiums that are going up? Ain't that a little bit more important than housing?
A little bit. if they live in a home that's $800,000. By the way, homes in Texas over $700,000, it's only 8% of the market. 39% of the homeowners have homes at the average of about $332,000 or less. So when you go to rural Texas or some areas and urban areas, people are living in $200,000 homes.
That's why, in my opinion, you must vote for Jasmine Crockett to get in that seat. I don't know James Tutoriak, whatever his name is. I don't know him. I'm sure he's a good guy. But we need somebody with a little bit more spunk. Now, I'm not naive to this. I am not naive to say that Jasmine, and she's she's young. She's 44. I'm not saying that she can be bought. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is we're going to need to be patient. And the people of Texas are going to have to not shout, but get her attention. Get her attention. Get her attention. Like the Young Bucks did. Like they had an interview with her. They have her attention. Now, it's on her to give the youth what they want. To give the youth what they need. Not what they want, what they need. And that's to help build generational wealth. It starts with the youth. If we were to get reparations now, let's talk about that real short. If we were to get reparations now, let's just say I ought to get reparations. It wouldn't be to me. It would be to my son and my daughter, their generation. Nothing would be given to me. It would be given to my daughter. It would be given to my son. Our generation is up and our Generation X is up and down. We've messed up in some things, but we also were successful in other things. We should have been behind the youth. I do know that. We should have been behind you got the Generation X, you got the Barb, remind me, because I've lost all sense of what. You got the baby boomers, you got the Gen Xers, you got I know you got the Gen Zs, and I'm skipping over one. You got the Gen Zs, you got the Gen Alphas. The Gen Alphas. Whoo! No, I said Gen Z already. What's after Gen Z? I know you got the baby boomers, and then you got the Gen Zs, which is us, which is me. And then you have what else after that? Not the alphas. God damn it, you gonna make me look. You gonna make me look at this book. Millennials. You got the millennials. We should have helped along the way the millennials to help the Gen X's and so the Gen X's can help the alphas. Baby boomer here, retired. Well, I know it was profitable to learn that you were supposed to be home before the street lights came on. Those were baby boomers. Then it went on to the Gen X's. I am a Gen Xer, and I can tell you that we did some things right, and we also did some things not so right. But at the end of the day, Will you vote for Jasmine Crockett to be in that seat? Will you do that? Or will you refrain from that and just vote for somebody else? I'm going to need for you to get in that comment section. I'm going to need you to, we'll do it this way. And I'll let you go do your thing. I need for you, if you are for Jasmine Crockett, put a 1 in the chat. If you are not for Jasmine Crockett, put a 2. If you are undecided, put a 3. If you are for Jasmine Crockett, put a 1. If you're not, put a 2. If you are undecided, put a 3. That's kind of even. It's kind of even. It's kind of even. Oh, I got 1. All right. All right. All right. For those who are not for Jasmine Crockett, could you give me an example why? If I can ask, can you give me an example why? Yeah, I did. I asked the 2s, why are you against Jasmine Crockett winning the seat? And I'm not going to speculate anything. I'm not going to say anything. I just need to know why. So I'll know, right? Jasmine Crockett always had a beautiful Louis Vuitton, but you need to know all about all that. Who could not be for Congresswoman Crockett? Well, you had a whole bunch of 2s. Who said she was racist? Oh, reverse. We getting that reverse. We're getting the Uno card. Why y'all playing? Who's playing the Uno cards? Who's playing reverse? I just need to know why wouldn't you vote for her? Just give her like a short sentence why you wouldn't vote for her. Y'all doing the whole Gabbett thing with the wheelchair thing again. Is that one of your nitpicks? Versus Donald Trump, who made fun of a war hero that got captured. Wow. I guess 2 wrongs don't make a right, I guess. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Will someone run for office that wants to Greg Abbott is wonderful. Ban and share with the laws. Okay. I guess I can understand where most of you are coming from. You mean a war hero? You mean a war hero that got captured because he went off mission? Hey, listen to me. I don't get in. Listen, you fighting the war that. Listen, I respect those people because I had people in my family who were war veterans. Okay, my great grandfather and my grandfather were war veterans, so I'm not gonna get into all that. As a matter of fact, I still had the flag that my grandfather, his folks gave to me. And I would never join the military or any circumstance, but I respect, I honor and respect the war heroes who have fought and bled and came home. Even they came home whole, or they came home with half a limb. Some of them came home with no half of a body part. or half of a body part missing. So when counting your blessings, count your blessings. You can come home with both arms or no arms. So if you have people who serve in the military, thank them and move on. That's all you got to do. You ain't got to do nothing extra. Just thank them for their services and move onward with services. But nevertheless, I say to the twos and even to the threes, there were no threes in here. It's a long way to go. When I come back, I'm going to keep asking that same question. And like I said, it's going to be a long way to go. We got 12 months, damn near a year. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to ask the same question. I am going to ask the same question. Who has not seen this? Who has not seen this? Hold on. Who has not seen this? Don't she look gorgeous? You're not a worm, but you are a hero. Thanks. I am a big fan of Jasmine. I don't know why she gets so much hate. I really don't know why she gets so much damn hate. It's not necessary. It's not necessary at all. When you look at that speech, what do you think? You think she can make it? Let me see. Let me see. No, I'm not gonna do the whole Roland Martin thing. Not gonna do the whole Roland Martin thing. Yeah, I despise Roland Martin in many ways, but I'm just gonna leave that be. Well, my friends and beyond friends, you got to give her a shot. Got to give her a shot. She's gonna be doing more. She's gonna be doing more and more stories. In the end, she's going to be doing more and more, not stories, but interviews in the end. And all I got to say is to support the channel. Support, and go to change.org. Go to change.org/swear in Jasmine Crockett for U.S. Senate. So, now I know what I want to do. Real quick. And I just want your honest opinion about this. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, Negro. And sidebar. Sidebar meaning I'm going to go into a different topic for a couple of minutes. What do you think about John Cena retiring? What do you think about John Cena retiring from WWE? You think he went out the right way or nah, y'all wrestling fan? Really? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. I gotta watch. This is gonna turn your stomach. We can't hear her because strong she stands our business. We can't hear her. We can't hear her because strong she stands our business. What the? I don't get it. last video for the day. Oh, the video. Okay. Last video for the day. The all I got to say is the hate is surreal. I think that shit in Australia is so whack. They are saying I mentioned what is so bad. I haven't been to Australia yet, but I know somebody who has. But check out this.
They took their first breath.
This.
We should be a nation of 90 to 135 million strong, and yet we stand at 48 million souls because of policies she celebrates with a grin. No fluff, no smoothing of the edges, just the brutal truth that exposes her record as an assault on everything our ancestors prayed. They literally prayed for through chains.
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining. Rip
into the Senate race from a state she isn't even from, represents the exact same machine that has devoured Black families since 1960s. She is the latest mask on the same party that tore husbands from wives, mothers from children, and annihilated half of our people. We should be a nation of 90 to 135 million strong, and yet we stand at 48 million souls because of policies she celebrates with a grin. No fluff, no smoothing of the edges, just the brutal truth that exposes her record as an assault on everything our ancestors prayed. They literally.
That's why I said it was a sidebar, and I only went into it a couple of seconds, but damn. That damn sensitive shit.
Whips and Jim Crow. If this doesn't hit 70% listen time, the algorithm is going to bury this. And share it with your children like your survival depends on it. Because as an American, it does. Jasmine Felicia Crockett. That's her name.
Ooh! He said her full name. Like he knows her so much. Oh, when they get mad at, I remember my mom getting mad at me. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a good analogy from it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Damn, turn around. Wait, hold on. This thing's about to get on my nerves. Hold on. I remember mom getting mad at me and calling me out my full government name. I mean, all the way to the asterisk. All the way to the asterisk. It's like, but these people act like they know who she is.
Felicia Crockett has blood on her hands, the blood of abortion. She parades around as a champion of reproductive justice, but is nothing more than an architect of death in neighborhoods already stripped of hope. In April of 2025, she co-sponsored the Abortion Care Awareness Act, pumping taxpayer money into marketing campaigns that target the very wombs crying out for restoration. Some Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act. She said, let them die, ensuring that if a Black child does survive an attempted abortion, the child would be left alone in the cold to die.
See, this is what I can't stand about Black Democrat politicians. They're evil, but they're not stupid. Jasmine Felicia Crockett, born in St. Louis, Missouri, not even in Texas, with this ghetto shtick, this ghetto around the way girl.
It went. The train's never late. Why are these conservatives? Okay. Back to me. Why are these damn conservatives so, what's the word I'm looking for? They are so for a man that has raped, pillaged, and plundered the United States as a tandem, as a whole. He has stolen money from people. Has nothing to do with passion. He has stolen money from people. Y'all people act like y'all know Donald Trump. Us baby boomers and Gen Xers or Gen Zers know about Donald Trump. But people in the millennia, a little bit. I'm gonna give. But let me get to it. So you were advocating for a man who has raped an adult, a female adult, has seen your children naked, and has said the most inappropriate things to your daughter. Has the most inappropriate thing to his daughter. Stolen money. The building that he has up here does not belong to him. The thing that says Trump does not belong to him. It belongs to the corporations. But it has one on the Howard Stern. I'm not gonna be fucking around with y'all. I'm not gonna fuck around with y'all right now. Not going to. Let me see. Not gonna be fucking around with y'all. Let me see if I can find that shit. Here. Trump. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Trump on the Howard Stern Show. Let me see. Let's see.
You want to have that. You're a guy who likes to have everything. Right?
Well, couldn't that be construed, however, as
conflict?
Yes.
I don't see it as a conflict.
It could be a conflict of interest, but it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on. The question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with the vagina. And
well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Would anybody would like for me to run that back in slow-mo? Would anybody would like for me to run that back in slow-mo? Again, would anybody would like for me to run that back in slow-mo? Fuck it. Y'all ain't convinced. Y'all are not convinced. Let's see. Y'all are not convinced.
Trip it out all over the country.
I would say I'm the all-time judge.
You own this pageant. You go over. You're meeting the girls. And stuff. One of them comes up to you and says, "Mr. Trump, you're a very sexy man.
You're a beautiful man. You have fantastic hair.
Well, you're a powerful man, right? Right. You're a powerful man.
Right.
I want to sleep with you." Now, you're not the type that would say no.
I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right. No. Right. But I mean, you see a beautiful woman. You want to have that. You're a guy who likes to have everything. Right?
Well, couldn't that be construed, however, as
conflict?
Yes.
I don't see it as a conflict.
It could be a conflict of interest, but it's the kind of thing you worry about later.
Oh, I see.
You tend to think about the conflict a little bit later on.
The question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And,
well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Do I have to do a Dr. Umar and play it a third time? Do I have to do it? No. Y'all would do the same position. According to the common understanding of the word. Old news, but very effective. Oh, but he's been indicted. Not indicted. He's been convicted 34 times. So the thing that he did back in 1996 and what was revealed in 2005 is very effective. They say that the past keeps up with you. And he never wavered from anything. He never wavered for anything. But you Trump supporters are an advocate of grape. You Trump supporters are an advocate of grape. I get it. I understand it. So don't come crying to the police. Don't come crying to anyone when someone comes after your child. An eye for an eye. That's in your Bible that the government created. Was I supposed to say that? Oh, shit. Was I supposed to say that? Ooh, yikes. Should I think I have that. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Donald Trump has every right to be proud of his daughter. Ivanka is a successful, Ivy League educated businesswoman, author, and mother.
I don't know if this is the video, but let's see.
She's now helping run his campaign and introduced her father at the Republican convention. Yet at times, his fatherly praise is downright cringeworthy, like on The View in 2006.
I said that if Ivanka were my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Oh, it's so weird.
If Ivanka were my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
In 2000.
Ivanka were my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. Ivanka were my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. Ivanka were my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Those who advocate for that, y'all sick. Now, what black person in here? I don't know any black person I know maybe y'all waffles, maybe y'all do. I don't know. Y'all get into some strange shit, but it's for black folk. I don't know. We wouldn't advocate for no shit like that. Fuck no. What's strange is if you have a 21-year-old white kid debating Trump supporters. I don't debate Trump supporters. I cuss out Trump supporters. I don't have the time nor the patience to debate anyone with this type of bullshit. This bullshit.
Oh, it's so weird. Stop. You know what? Stop it.
Daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. And that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Stop it. Oh, it's so weird. Stop. You know what? You are. Far from protecting his daughter from being talked about as a sex object, he has encouraged it multiple times on Howard Stern's radio show in 2004 and then again in 2006.
By the way, your daughter, she's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah. She looks more voluptuous.
Marinate on that for a minute. Marinate on that bullshit while I get a drink of water. Mega owns you. Mega gonna own an ass whooping.
From protecting his daughter from being talked about as a sex object, he has encouraged it multiple times on Howard Stern's radio show in 2004 and then again in 2006.
By the way, your daughter, she's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah. She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
In May, Ivanka described herself as a feminist while defending her father on CBS after a scathing New York Times article about his alleged negative treatment of women.
Is there unending commentary on the female form? No. I've known my father, obviously, my whole life, and he has total respect for women.
Please welcome the lovely Ivanka Trump.
Still, even Ivanka seemed confused when talk show host Wendy Williams asked about things the two have in common.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that. I can't relate.
If this don't prove that he's a freaking weirdo, I ain't got nothing else for you, bro. If this does not prove that he is a damn weirdo, I don't know what else to tell you. I just don't know what else to tell you. He's a damn weirdo. But Trump supporters, as well as, hey, put F MAGA in the chat for me, will you please? Put F maggots. 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 Put F maggots in the chat for me. Put F maggots in the chat for me. Clock it, as my daughter would say. Clock it. That's just weird. Yep. Put F maggots in the chat. Because all you maggots is weird as fuck. All you maggots is weird as fuck. All you white folks. Y'all, not all of y'all, because some of you here are supporters of me. If it don't apply, let it fly. But for the rest of you motherfuckers, y'all fuck pigs. Y'all fuck pigs and fuck horses. So I'm not surprised at this. Y'all some incest. Y'all. I expected the outcomes when he was inaugurated months ago. I expected the racism to come out. Excuse me, not racism, because all white people are racist. I expected the bigotry, prejudiceness coming out of it. I expected it. I totally expected it. But I didn't think it was going to be for this magnitude. The prejudiceness coming and the weirdness coming from y'all is quite cringeworthy.
Donald Trump has always been proud of his daughter.
I'd call collect to his office. I was probably, 10 years old. He would pick up the phone every single time, and he'd put me on speakerphone. Wouldn't be a long conversation. He'd introduce me to whoever was in his office.
And he was front row when Ivanka took to the catwalk during her short-lived career as a fashion model. Still, Donald Trump repeatedly points out how hot his daughter is, saying last year in a Rolling Stone article, "Yeah, she's really something, and what a beauty, that one."
I don't know any black father who would be dumb enough to talk about their own daughter like this. I don't know one. I don't know one. If there are any of you who talk to your daughter about like this, please reveal yourself so I can kick you off of my chat. If you spot any of these people, please put them in front of the congregation. Well, I can't say the other thing. Put them in front of the congregation so we can spot you out. Yeah, I guess most of them, because most don't know they don't have daughters. Just demons, just pure demons at this. I gotta get this out the fucking way. I gotta get this out. Oh my goodness gracious. I can't believe people advocate for things like this. I'm not a Democrat dipshit. I'm an independent. I just like certain people from the left. I'm an independent. But you advocate for this bullshit. I'm not Dean Withers. I will fucking cuss y'all white asses out. Redneck Peckerwoods don't surprise me. Don't belittle me. They don't do nothing for me whatsoever. Other than that, if I had my way, you would be deported. Because guess what? You ain't from this motherfucker either. None of you are. You stole a whole country and had the nerve to cry and bitch and moan. There used to be 85% of Nick Fuentes. Fuck Nick Fuentes. There used to be 90% of us. That is only 35. Uh-huh. Like the Mexicans, they need to be deported. The blacks, they just need to go to jail. And we will have peace. We will finally have peace. Hey, but then again, with Trump and his daughter thing, maybe it's cool. Maybe it's cool. He probably, say, let me test that thing one time. Let me test that thing. We don't have to tell nobody or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. If I ever did that, I want my father-in-law to take to punish me slowly. I want my father-in-law, I would pick my father-in-law personally to kill me slowly because I deserve it. If I ever treated my daughter in that way, I would tell him, and I want him to just murder me slowly. No, I don't want no words, no nothing. Just murder me slowly. Just murder me slowly. If I ever called my that's talk to my daughter in that way. But then again, white folks, do I have to say it? Do I have to say it? I mean, if y'all white, if there's somebody white, you tell me. You tell me if I'm wrong. You tell me. This is your man's. This is your man's. This is your man's. But again, we all knew that this cracker ass cracker was weird. We all knew that. We all knew. Let me help you out. Let me help you out, brother. You are racist. How can I be racist when I don't have wealth? How can I be racist when I don't have power? How can I be racist when they ain't no... How? How can I do that? No, I would rather... This is too easy. This is just way too easy.
If I weren't happily married.
And some white, not all, but white people get mad when they get exposed. We're losing the country. You get dumb shit like
And,
this.
you know, her father, while defending her father on CBS after...
Than ever. And that water. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Water. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. Water. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. She looks... Water. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. She looks...
All my black fathers. If Howard Stern said that about your daughter, what would you do? If there are any black mothers, what would you do if Howard Stern said that about your daughter? If Howard Stern said it about your daughter, what would you do? Pack him out. What is that? What the hell does that mean? Pack him out? Pack him out? Well, I don't know what that means. For it though, I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it. Oh my goodness gracious. I want to do it. Yeah, but I'm not gonna say if it were me. I would strangle Howard's nose. Howard's... What are we doing? We playing cabbage. Oh, that is it. That is all you need to say. And why isn't this thing not cooperating? Well, it's about to die. Yeah, of course, But we got certain brothers and sisters who act like this is just a trend. This is just, it's AI and all this other shit. AI wasn't even invented in 2005. So that's just a lame duck ass excuse. But Vaughn, my brother. System UI. Vaughn, my brother, my confidant, my best friend. What would you do if Donald Trump said this about your daughter? Or, excuse me, Howard Stern said this about your daughter.
Your daughter. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of...
I don't know what went wrong, but this thing's acting retarded. Y'all give me a second. What up, what up, what up? I just don't know how you would feel. I don't know how you would feel if, of course, if Howard Stern said this about your daughter.
She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. She looks more voluptuous than ever.
Then again in 2006.
By the way, your daughter. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. She looks the way your daughter. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass. She looks the way your daughter. She's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of ass.
Vaughn, my buddy, old pal, my old friend. Any black father would have a fit. But again, this is what racism is. I'm gonna need for you to shut whatever you got going on in your mind and start shutting this on. You got to shut this on. Smoking the eye splitter. Smoking the eye splitter. That sounded like Howard Stern. That's because it is Howard Stern. It is Howard Stern. And him and Howard Stern are best friends. Isaiah 9. Everybody like to bring the Bible up. And for good reason, I have to say. Good reason. Good reason. Let's see. Isaiah 9. What does Isaiah 9 say? Nevertheless, there would be no more gloom for whom were in distress. In the past, are humble advised. What the hell? I don't know what that is. Daniel. Let's go to Daniel. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all because I got a scripture. I'm a quote scripture in a minute, and hopefully my wife is in the room because she hates me when I quote scripture. God dang it. I'll quote scripture. Let's see. 25. 2025. What is this? What is this? Okay. This is inspiration written to Trump. What are you trying to imply here? What's going on? What is going on? 2025. Maybe I'm looking up in the wrong area. Oh, okay. This is inspirational that was written. Here are my words. God with a number of days brought it into it. Okay, I get it. Well, here's my scripture. Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides in iniquity and tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he in the name of charity and goodwill, separates the weak from the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the founder of lost children. And I will strike upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers, for they will know I am the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Now, when I say it, to a certain individual, that's your ass. That is your ass, for real, for real. When it comes to my children, that's your ass. But let's continue.
She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet tall.
In May, Ivanka described herself as a feminist while defending her father on CBS after a scathing New York Times article about his alleged negative treatment of women.
Is there unending commentary on the female form? No. I've known my father obviously my whole life, and he has total respect for women.
Please welcome the lovely Ivanka Trump.
Still, even Ivanka seemed confused when talk show host Wendy Williams asked about things the two have in common.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Donald Trump has always been proud of his daughter.
I'd call collect to his office. I was probably, 10 years old. He would pick up the phone every single time.
In my eyes, both of them are sick, but let me not hold you. Let me not hold you. But before we go, because we've been on this bitch for 3 hours, I was like, well, I can't play it because YouTube purposes, but somebody else wants to say hello.
It's the calm before the storm right here. Wait, how was I gonna start this off? I forgot. Oh yeah. That's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I drop it on Donald Trump? Probably not, but that's all I got till I come up with a solid. Got a plan and now I got a hatchet like a damn Apache with a tomahawk. I'ma walk inside a mosque on Ramadan and say a prayer that every time talks. She gets a I'ma stop. But we better give Obama props, because what we got in office now's a kamikaze that'll probably cause a nuclear holocaust. And while the drama pops and he waits for shit to quiet down, he'll just gas his plane up and fly around till the bombing stops. Intensity's heightened, tensions are rising. Trump, when it comes to giving a shit, you're stingy as I am. Except when it comes to having the balls to go against me, you hide them. Because you don't got the nuts like an empty asylum. Racism's the only thing he's fantastic for. Because that's how he gets his rocks off and he's orange. Yeah, sick tan. That's why he wants us to disband, because he cannot withstand the fact we're not afraid of Trump. Walking on eggshells, I came to stomp. That's why he keeps screaming, drain the swamp, because he's in quicksand. It's like we take a step forwards, then backwards. But this is his form of distraction. Plus, he gets an enormous reaction when he attacks the NFL, so we focus on that. And instead of talking Puerto Rico with gun reform from Nevada, all these horrible tragedies, and he's bored and would rather cause a Twitter storm with the Packers. Then says he wants to lower our taxes. Then who's gonna pay for his extravagant trips back and forth with his fam to his golf resorts and his mansions? Same shit that he tormented Hillary for and he slandered, then does it more. From his endorsement of banning support for the Klansmen, tiki torches in hand for the soldier that's black and comes home from Iraq and is still told to go back to Africa.
Hold up. It's mind-boggling when he spots out white supremacy. when he spots out white supremacy. What the fuck? This is Eminem. This is your boy.
Fork and a dagger in this racist 94-year-old grandpa. who keeps ignoring our past historical deplorable factors. Now if you're a black athlete, you're a spoiled little brat for trying to use your platform or your stature to try to give those a voice who don't have one. He says you're spitting in the face of vets who fought for us, you bastards. Unless you're a POW who's tortured and battered because to him you're zeros because he don't like his war heroes captured. That's not disrespecting the military.
No, I don't think so.
That this is for Colin. Ball up a fist. And keep that shit ball like Donald the bitch. He's gonna get rid of all immigrants. He's gonna build that thing up taller than this. Well, if he does build it, I hope it's rock solid with bricks. Cause like him in politics, I'm using all of his tricks. Cause I'm throwing that piece of shit against the wall till it sticks. And any fan of mine who's a supporter of his, I'm drawing in the sand a line. You're either for or against. And if you can't decide who you like more and you're split on who you should stand beside, I'll do it for you with this. The rest of America, stand up. We love our military and we love our country, but we hate Trump.
On that note, let's get back to this bullshit. I feel better now.
Knowing that she knows how to speak and that her parents spent tens upon tens of thousands on her education. See, these Black Democrat politicians are paid to keep Black people diminished, to keep our numbers down, to keep us destroyed and hopeless. And they know.
Who the hell are you talking to? So much, wah. Like Donald Trump's gonna do anything for your weak black ass. The fuck is we doing? You know he can deport you too. You do know that, right? Because if he can break, even though he can't deport you, by his law, by his definition, by his power and his statute, he can. CAN. If he can fuck with Haiti, what makes you think he can't fuck with you, dumbass?
No, they know, unfortunately, it is true that a lot of Black people, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, most are stuck on skin color. They worship men.
Is it skin color or is it nationality? Is it skin color or is it nationality? Voice in the cave, you're gonna make me go back to my Bible. I won't hold you. You're gonna definitely make me go back to my Bible.
Melanin. They worship it. And that has been the downfall of Black folks ever since. We've been taught that. We don't look at things whether they are right and wrong. Just look at it biblically. We look at that's the Black person. I'm going to take up for the Black person. And that Black person, if it's a Black Democrat politician, that's the devil. That is literally the KKK.
Okay. All right. Okay. You know what? I'm going to entertain it. So the Democratic Party is part of the KK. Which I understand it, but because of course you have members of the certain Democratic parties. Some of them are no longer here anymore, but then there are others who are still here, Joe Biden. But if Democrats are part of the KKK, then what the fuck are Republicans? Real nice, loyal, law-abiding citizens? They've been hanging up black peoples from trees for years. I don't even want to go into it.
You say, Linda B, what do you mean? They're doing things to black folks today by way of other black people that the KKK could only dream of. They're like, woo, thank you, Lord. The Lord that they serve, which is not the real Lord. Our Lord does not promote the things that the Demon Rat Party promotes. Abortion, getting rid of ourselves. Jasmine Felicia Crockett, you are a farce. And Satan is not going to come with horns and heels and a tail and a forked tongue. Sometimes they come looking very sweet, very polished, and in this case, ghetto.
You might as well call her a nigger. So I think they are advocating that Jasmine Crockett is a demon because I don't know if she advocates for this or not. She is a pro-choicer or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. Is she a pro-lifer or is she a pro-choicer? Pro-lifer or pro-choicer? I don't know. I really do not know. But I do know this. I'm going to tell you something about me. I am pro-life and I'm also pro-choice. Let me explain. I am not an advocate of killing children. Yet, 3 things that could help you get away with abortions. Number 1, if you are being raped by a person and he purposely impregnates you, whether it be by accident or on purpose, and he impregnates you, you have leeway for that. Or if you're being beaten from with an inch of your life or abscess, I'm all for pro-choice. Your body, your choice. I cannot see a guy who would rape a black woman, nut up in her, and say, you have to keep that baby. Why would I keep a killer baby? Why would I keep a advocate of a killer's baby? Why would I do that? But then again, it's her choice. Now, if she is willing to abort a child, and that's another thing. When you're being beaten by the inch of your life, it not just affects the woman, it affects the child too. And she's not, and that's a 50-50 situation. The baby's not going to survive anyway. The baby will will not survive. It's the same thing when you go into the delivery room. It's a 50-50 proposition. It's not her body. If it's not her body, then whose is it? Please convince me of that bullshit. But convince me. If it's not her body, let me guess. It's God's, right? But God instores the souls who turn into babies within a 23 or 24 trimester. Am I correct? Within the 23 or 24 trimester, that baby is not a baby. Am I right or am I wrong? But after the 24 months, or not 24 months, after the 24 days, or is it 24? I'm sorry, weeks. I remember somebody telling me that after 24 weeks, it becomes a life, right or wrong. Body of Christ. You can't be a body of Christ when you're getting great. You're missing the whole concept. You're missing the whole concept there. But again, like I said, if it's anything other than those three I just mentioned, then she's dead wrong. If you just aborting babies just because you don't like me anymore, or you think I'm a piece of shit, then and you abort the baby just because of that reason, then no, that's unacceptable. That is really unacceptable. But let me go back down. I remember Barb, did you mention they are stating she is pro-choice? So she's pro-choice. She doesn't have any kids, so I would have to hear more and more of her stance. Co-signing murder is anti-God. That's not, I don't condone it, but I understand it. Again, I don't condone it, but I understand it. Especially when you are getting raped or you're getting beaten about the inch of your life. And this is the reason why I hate conversations like this, because you don't know when life starts or you don't know when life begins. Most of you don't even know when life begins. Do you know just what did you just ask me? Oh, no. I don't think I asked you anything. But then again, since you are a good friend of mine, do you think Jasmine Crockett would advocate for pro-choice? Because it's your decision whether you, at the end of the day, it's your decision whether you like it, love it, hate it, or whatever. And I understand certain aspects of being pro-choice, and this is a very, very tough conversation, and I'm going to leave it at this. Do the right thing. Do the right thing by not just for yourself, but for your husband or your boyfriend or whatever. And again, if it's not those three things I just mentioned, then it is wrong. Yes, I think she would be pro-choice. Okay, well, she would have to fight for a whole bunch of so-called Christians out there. She would have to fight for so-called Christians out there. And a lot of people are not Christian. And a lot of people think that they're Christian, but they're not. Trust me, they're not. I thought there was, but then again, I thought there was sacrifices in the Bible. Ooh, let me not go there.
Supposed to be progress. Black women, only 14% of the childbearing age in America, account for almost 42% of all abortions. Over 360,000 black babies gone each year. Each year, 1,000 empty cribs every sunrise. Since 1973, 25 million erased. That is half of the missing population. That's marriages that never formed, fathers whose arms remained empty, mothers who grieved in silence without the father even knowing that she was even pregnant. This is not justice. This is generational theft. It hollows out the very foundation that allows black husbands and wives to build empires. Our grandparents...
Oh, let me guess. The patriot, what is it called? Not patriotism. No, it is patriotism, isn't it? Patriarchy. My bad. All about that damn patriarchy shit.
Bled for the nuclear family to survive. And yet Jasmine Felicia Crockett fuels the very machine designed to erase it. There's a character in the book by Harriet Beecher Stowe called Quimbo. and Quimbo killed people that actually did the most to protect their own community. They're gatekeepers, like she is. Listen closely. Then the welfare trap she strengthens with every proud vote. She calls it compassion. They're just rephrasing, using words to rephrase things. It's a noose dressed up as progress. Her votes on boosted child tax credits, her cheerleading of entitlement expansion, and her 2024 Community Housing Act pump billions into a system that punishes marriage and rewards fractured, broken homes filled with illegitimate bastard children. You bring a husband into the picture and the benefits vanish. So families break by design. This isn't an oversight. This is Jasmine Felicia Crockett. It's intentional architecture. So families break by design. In 1965, before the Great Society detonated the black household, out of wedlock births sat below 24%. Today, it's nearly reversed. They tell her at 72%. And where do the children of this collapse end? Well, they end in poverty 85% of the time, double dropout rates, gangs as surrogate fathers. When married black couples raise children, they generate stability.
See you later.
Ownership, hope, legacy.
Thank you for stopping
But
by.
the agenda destroys the
Thank you,
incentive
Barb.
for that structure to even exist. She votes to expand the very system that keeps mothers alone, fathers absent, and children unfathered, and communities spiritually feral and lifeless. That's not compassion, folks. That's Jasmine Felicia Crockett.
Not just abortion, that's the problem. Let's be real. We've got drugs and gangs that were poured into the black communities by design, by the evil powers that be.
Lord. Sorry, y'all. I'm allergic to bullshit. But at any rate, I know y'all got things to do, so do I. But love y'all. Thanks for support the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. And by the way, before I go, I want to thank another member who joined the. Let me see. Fuck, I forgot to wait a bit. Who had joined the membership? Where did I get that from? I went to the wrong thing. Sorry. Real quick. This is real quick. Thank you for joining the We-On-Loc Nation channel. And let me shout you out real quick. Your name happens to be Kenneth Rigo Spine. Kenneth Rigo Spine, or whatever you need. Thank you for joining on the We-On-Loc Nation channel. And I'm certain that you are going to do the exact same thing for a Christmas present. Thank you. Go ahead and join the live stream. Give a like, support the channel, and support Jasmine Crockett too. For those Jasmine Crockett fans, go ahead and change.org/swearing Jasmine Crockett for U.S. Senate. Peace. God bless.